no, no. Well, no. Well, I, put up a new ball and everything, and it's a champ right now, but it should be okay. Okay, let's move forward. Let's move forward. What do we have next? Oh, Eddie Hoyt.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome back to another episode on a Friday afternoon of The Watchman with me, your host, Jean-Luc Watch. Make some noise, clap it up, get excited, wherever you are, in your car, on your job, at your house, I don't care, because this is the place to be to get all of your needs in the sports and entertainment avenues all on today's episode. Yes, indeed, we made it to the weekend. We have made it to Friday, the big kahuna, almost off of work, almost off your jobs, and almost having a time on the weekend. Yes, indeed, I'm so excited to be here with you all on today, because this entire show, like we do every single Friday, is indeed the championship round, where you all control the whole of the conversation. You all control everything involving where this show goes, the ebbs and the flows, the twists and turns, the stories that you want to discuss, the topics, the debates, the opinions, all of that is controlled by you, the viewing and listening audience. All you got to do is put your chats in the chat section down below, right on the side of your screen, wherever your chat box is, so you can have your voice be seen and heard, and we can take your questions and all of your confrontational opinions. Oh yes, indeed, so that we can make this show the best they can be. We still got stuff in the agenda that we're going to cover, like with Ryan Garcia, with him debuting at 147. Will this be seen as the best division for Ryan Garcia, as pictured to come out of his body, his physique, his seemingly fully flushed out frame at 147. Now moving up into a bigger weight class, getting ready for the fight with Mario Barnes. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about more with Shakur and Teofimo Lopez. Like I said, almost every week we're going to be discussing that fight, because it is the biggest fight of the year, or at least at the start of the year this year. One of the most highly anticipated wars happening at the Mecca of Madison Square Garden in New York. The Garden in New York City. Yeah, where the Knicks play. Everybody's coming out for New York, and everybody can't wait to see that fight take place. And again, we're going to be touching on a lot more stuff in regards to that fight on today's episode, as well as a little bit with Noya Inoue, and something interesting I got to see on the show of Inside the Ring that had my attention a little bit perked up with some of the stuff that, more specifically, Malik Scott has said in regards to Inoue and his, how do we say, not impressed nature in the way that he has been going about his career. Again, sacrilege, I understand. Yes, indeed. How dare is what a lot of reactions were, mine included. But we're going to listen and we're going to delve into the ins and outs of that opinion and why that might be held, and whether or not it is true or false in all reality. But again, with all that being said, we're still going to have an action-packed show. If you are just tuning in, hey, this is The Watch when I'm your host, Jean-Luc Watch. Please leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Come on and subscribe to the channel. Be a part of this empire. Come join the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Also, be sure to rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts. Apple, Spotify, you name it, we're there. And if we're not, tell us and we'll get there. Absolutely. And also be sure, if you can't support the show, to give the Cash App and PayPal links down below in the description. If you can, it helps to go and make this show bigger and better. Also, be sure to come through and super chats, gifts, and stickers if you can. It helps the channel out immensely as well. And please be sure just to share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together. All with you and your support, we can make this show so much bigger, so much better, and so much more grander for everybody to listen and enjoy. But without further ado, we got a whole bunch of stuff to cover in a short amount of time to do it. So on this Friday afternoon, we got boxing to delve into, we got your voice that we want to hear, and we got a championship rounds entirety of a show that we got dedicated to let you all control where we go, all set and ready for you all to be listened to and entertained. So with all that being said, hey, it's time to talk about boxing, it's time to talk about sports, and it is time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Come on, ring the bell. Let's get it started. Round 1 of this show going underway. As real quick, let me take a sip of water just to make sure I'm hydrated for this entire field. Like I said, we starting this year off a little bit more healthy than we normally do.
Old man had the truck.
Trying to
Pick up the 6x6.
better ourselves per se, but even still, it's going to be an action-packed show, and let's jump right into it, shall we? For the first topic of the day, and again, it's still the championship rounds. Put your chats in the comment section so you can talk about whatever you want to discuss, but in the meantime, we have a litany of topics that we're going to have, like with Ryan Garcia and his debut, like with the, let me actually pull up the prompts right here. We go. Like with Anyway, and some criticism going up against what is seen as, in my opinion, the best fighter in the world in the Monster. But
yeah.
before we get into that, hey, let's touch into one of the more recent developments in the career of Ryan Garcia with this highly, I'll say, I can say highly anticipated, because people want to see him come back, in the highly anticipated return of Ryan Garcia as he is debuting at 147. There's been some very big rumblings as to the physique, the body, and the real overarching build that we're seeing Ryan Garcia take place, or rather show, as he has essentially filled out into a very impressive looking fight from the standpoint of, as we've watched his career go from 135, then go up to 140, even subsequently with the losses now to 147, you can argue that we are reaching closer than ever to the physical peaks that we can see the ability of Ryan Garcia actively reaching. Again, we had a bunch of people are putting out clips and pictures of the physiques that they've been getting in regards to their build-up fights, like with Shakur, like with Tio, and others, but specifically with Ryan Garcia. As for the topic of the day, as you can see, as we delve into the world of picture, let me put it up right here so you can witness the potential evolution of one of the youngest stars in the world. Give me 1 second. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. It's coming. It's on the way. Hold on. Don't want to leave you waiting. Don't want to leave you wishing for more. Well, here we go. Yes, indeed. Right here. Where's it? There. Come on. Click the button. Is it working? Are we frozen? I hope we ain't frozen. There we go. No, we ain't. Here we go. That's indeed. The body and physique of Ryan Garcia has now came to light, and it looks like Garcia, from the stint of his training, has really put himself together, getting ready for this fight with Barrios. Understand, the biggest division he's ever been in now seems like a division, or rather a body that fits the bill of a very intriguing, potentially power-driven frame that's going to come in and look to mop the floor with the likes of Mario Barrios. Now, again, we've had our concerns with Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios. No question about that. Hey, I'll be the first to say. I will be the first to say there's been some qualms, some very big, intricate details involving the speculation of Ryan Garcia as his career has continued to unfold. Again, for one of the biggest stars in the world, who is getting into his prime and who started out so young. Yes, I say getting into his prime because he still is incredibly young. He is a person who, with the spotlight and trajectory that we've had on him, has somewhat lacked in the production that we wanted for his entire career. Somebody who is supposed to be a multi-time champion in a lot of people's eyes. Somebody who's supposed to be done, not just done with smaller weight classes, but done a bunch of quality work at this point in time to solidify himself as more than just a social media star, social media darling, but a legit pinnacle of intrigue and investment from a quality standpoint that the globe wants to witness and enjoy. Yes, indeed. That's how this career, a very violent career, from the standpoint of ups and downs, ebbs and flows, PEDs and whatnot, all has been unfolded. But now, again, if this is clean, if this is a clean physique, and if this is actually just straight up work. Again, no Austrian, no nothing like that. Which, again, we've already covered the issues with the whole Austrian situation and all that came from that. We're dealing with, okay, maybe This is where the run really starts. Hypothetically, legitimate. And we clap and show concern because there's the biggest reality of the word of Ryan Garcia, as we've been saying on multiple occasions, we just don't know. We just don't know. Well, from the standpoint of everything that we want to say he can be is not something that is negative. It's good. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see where the pinnacle can reach to. But like we've been saying for multiple years, hey, we ain't wasting time when it comes to Ryan Garcia, and you got to get some stuff on the ball. Some accolades got to be put in your trophy case, more than just interim titles. We need to see some real substantive evidence of quality in you as a fighter, so we don't just have you as a marketable hype dream, a marketable, polarizing figure that in all actuality doesn't really have the substance worth its weight in gold. And that's what we don't want. But that's what we can get to with Ryan Garcia. That's exactly what can happen when we look at the careers of Garcia and the subsequent stagnation that is seemingly creeping up on him. But if that physique shows a level of mental fortitude that we're seeing from Ryan Garcia, well, then that may be an inkling that, hey, he may not be a lost cause, and this hope that we have that Garcia can indeed reach the potentials that his physical gifted, ceiling should allow for him to reach. It's still hope that he can get there. It might be still, I dare say it may be hope. It may be hope. It may just be a living hope that we can have that everything may not be lost. And the idea of what Garcia can be will come to fruition after this Mario Barrios fight. Because again, with this Mario Barrios fight, it's the first real opportunity for a world championship that we've seen from the likes of Ryan Garcia ever in his career, from a real, legit, fully substantive nature. Not from just a sense of, interim belts or amateur titles or anything like that. Like, with up and up. Having your moniker of you, just like with Tio, just like with Devin Haney, just like with Tank Davis, just like with the rest of the Four Kings, Lomachenko and others, everybody who you were in the midst with at 135. Now you fully have garnered their same acclaim, at least in one aspect. You're a champ. Hopefully we can see it absolutely. But also, I want to see your chats in the comment section down below before we continue with our discussion. Like what Anita Burr, what's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. He's trash. Good morning. He's trash, man. Good morning, though. Well, good morning to you, Burr. Thank you for tuning in. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. Hold on. I think you chatted right before I can fully get the chat bot working. So if you chat again, I think now your stuff should be showing up now on screen. So please keep on chatting, keep on commenting. Like I said, we still want to hear your voice, but he's trash. And if you hold that precedent that he's trash, that is not worth the time, that he is indeed somebody who is fallen by the wayside as a star that we should take serious. I get the complaint. I understand the concern. I'm not going to sit here and act like that. As much as we want to say, media, pundits, and the likes of various promotional companies have pushed Ryan Garcia as one of the next, a pseudo Oscar De La Hoya from the standpoint of the notoriety, the pomp and circumstance, the hype, the intrigue. The fans love him. Women want to be with him. Everybody letting you. He's a pretty boy that got great power, and he'll go to war with people. He don't duck smoke. He's got a bunch of stuff that the business of boxing has pushed, rightfully so, to create a star. And he's got the poise from the standpoint of as a man who fits the bill. He fits the bill. Okay, he can be a star. All well and good. But if we look deeper into this picture, we have to get a real, we got to get a reality moment it lacks the evidence to make it so that, like I've said before, this run of fan favorite, this run of being able to be a star without the shine, from the standpoint of, like with the moon reflects the light of the sun, the moon is almost the gold that light shines off. And when I say gold, I'm saying representative of championships. The fame is indeed the sunlight, sure, but then it gets exacerbated. It gets shown in a completely new way, a new perspective, when you put it behind the moon. All of a sudden, it's a more how do we say? It is a glow that is separated from everything else, in a good way, not in a bad way. It's reflected in a manner that has the public, you can't help but look up. Because why? Because it's so good. It looks so great. That's what we want for Ryan Garcia, and that's what needs to happen now more than ever. And if you say he doesn't have the trophy to reflect the fame in its proper light, and he's trash, I can understand it. Now, do I think that he's trash? No. Do I think that there's been times where he's been incredibly unfocused? Absolutely. And that unfocused nature is what has been what has caused him, in reality, to be seen as not even be seen, to perform as a very underwhelming person in the sport of boxing, where he's been positioned. It's the truth. Part of this whole situation is it's been criticized about Ryan Garcia. As much as he doesn't duck smoke, as much as he doesn't run from competition, all of which is a reality. We're not going to put that in a negative light, because that's just not true. He is about that life when it comes to getting active. But at the same breath, the discipline behind the camp, the discipline when the fight's said and done, to keep yourself going, to keep yourself at this high pinnacle where you can continue to not just perform, but have the capacity to evolve. He hasn't had it. He hasn't had it. We've had too many questions about him. And this, hopefully, again, with the physique, with the build, with him looking in arguably the best shape he's ever looked in his entire career, I want to say that this is a sign of a dedicated, mentally sufficient, stable Ryan Garcia, both emotionally, physically, hopefully spiritually, and from a wherewithal that if this is true, or with the wherewithal, that if that is the reality, and he comes in this fight with Mario Barnes and does look indeed great, well, then the hope that he can evolve into that final form of fully encapsulating what his skill set is, it might still be there. Hopefully, that's all I'm saying. I really hope it is. But let me see. All Ryan does is use that hook. Other than that, not really sure about him. I'm Latino, but I can care less about that. Haney knockout Ryan is honestly overrated. I mean, and again, thank you for commenting. I do appreciate it. Like I said, the chat's working now, so I can get y'all to say, I can put y'all stuff on screen now, so I appreciate it. But we are, and again, the stagnation in offensive development is because, in part, one, trainers that he was with wasn't working great for him, like with Derek James, who was supposed to be a great help, ended up being a great hurt. And then subsequently afterwards, you saw him go off the rails, genuinely. While he was drinking with the overweight stuff with the build up to Devin Haney, even post the Devin Haney fight, or during the Devin Haney fight, with the build up and all. Had a bunch of outside issues and stuff, accused of being more than just on PEDs, but accused of being on cocaine, a bunch of the substances, having himself seemingly go, very much in a very bad way. It was an episode that looked incredibly damaging. How you are can sometimes squeeze out your ability to fix the stuff that's wrong with you, at least inside the ring. And with Ryan Garcia at this point in time, or rather at that point in time, he was incapable of being able to transition to fix these flaws. Even subsequently after with Rolly Romero, he was incapable. He was, it wasn't possible where he was mentally. Yes, you can bring up the injury that he had against Rolly Romero. You can bring that up as, okay, that might have been why he wasn't able to do anything else. But even then before that, what has his career been for the entirety of the time? I'm fast, I'm big, I'm strong, and I got the fastest punch in the game, in the left hook. It worked. It's been working. I don't need to change it with working. In the delivery system, I at least have a system. Cool. I can land off a counter. I can land it off of a jab. Great. Why do I need to train anything else when I got this and all the other avenues of success with me? The fame, the money, the adoration, the looks, the power, magazines, all of it. Then you get put into a situation where, okay, I got rocked against was it Campbell that he got put down in? No, was it Smith? It was either Campbell. Was it Campbell? Was it Smith? The buddy who at 135 he got knocked down, looked like he was out for the count, then got back up, got more aggressive, and then went to the body and knocked him out. Well, again, incredible performance. Okay, hey, I got a little bit of grit in me. I showed I can get up. I showed I got some heart. That was good. You found that out, but you still, what won him that fight was the same thing, but done in a manner where, okay, you got repetitive. Her doubling down on what worked, but not looking to evolve into something else. Similar to what we see with like some Fabio Worley. He gets put in a bad situation. What does he do? Well, he just digs deeper and says something's gonna land. Deontay Wilder, something's gonna land. I just gotta keep throwing what I know how I can throw. Not change or try to make something new. Hone in more so on what I know can work for me, which to some degree is always good, but in some degrees, like in this situation, it has now flipped over to the other side of the coin. It's gone over to the other side of the pillow. And now it is to your detriment. That's all you know. And you, to some degree, got in your own way of being able to change that. You got in your own way of being able to see that as a development I need to fix. Sure, you got defense, or you worked to earn defense, and you went out and you got yourself, a very unique version of the Philly shell, the Ryan Rose people call it. As time went on, people clowned it, and all of a sudden, oh wait, it actually has a little bit of effect. Then you saw what happened when he used it against Devin Haney. All of a sudden, he's able to, it's actually working. There was some quality there. There was some growth, which I love. But again, it was only on one side of the spectrum. And then it went downtrodden again when he went up against Rolly Romero. And all because as much, and again, speculation, be clear. Speculation right now. My own opinions. As much as I may say, and again, Al Booger, how you doing? Good to see you. The Tijuana. the Tijuana, and then, like, again, it was talked about a lot. I even said it as well. And I'm not here. I appreciate it. Again, I love that y'all here. I love that y'all are showing up and showing out. I appreciate it. Please leave a like on the stream since y'all are here. If you would, it does help out the stream to get pushed out to the rest of the YouTube world so everybody can see and be involved in this conversation. And I do want to hear from you all as well in regards to this. But the question is, again, at Ryan Garcia at 147, will this finally be the start of the best run of Garcia's career? And honestly, it has to be now or never. Because all of that storytelling that I just said, about when he got knocked down and got back up, about when he was forced to create a defense that we may have clowned, but he kept on working at it up until, okay, it actually became serviceable. With everything that we've seen up until this point with Ryan Garcia, we have to say that he's been on the cusp of making a breakthrough with what he is as a fighter. But to some degree, he has gotten in his own way with all of these milestone progressiveness, or milestones of progression rather, in his career. At some way, shape, or form, he has backtracked. At some way, shape, or form, no matter how much we may think, okay, this is it, this is where it's time, something's gone awry, and now we're all saying the same thing.
Hey, look at this. We got the problems here. We got some problems here.
In the words of Jim Ross, we got a problem. Every single time. Every time. And again, if you've seen the pictures, we saw the physique of Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of hype around the fact that with him currently standing, with everything that we've been saying about him being weight drained, everything we're saying about him being in a position where he is able to not be the best version of himself, similar to Boots in some degree, similar to some of the stuff we've said about Devin Haney. All well and good and fine. This looks to be, okay, the true peak of his powers. If this physique, laden by discipline, is indeed a real thing, again, no PEDs, no drugs, or nothing like that. If this is real, okay, this might be a good sign. This could be a great sign. It could. But with all that being said, the hesitation is because I'm scared there's gonna be a pitfall. I'm scared that something is still gonna hold him back from being able to be everything that he can be. With an opponent that, if we're going to be completely honest, I respect Mario Barrios. I love Mario Barrios. And I've said it multiple times, Mario Barrios can stop Ryan Garcia. He can beat him. He can put him out if it gets that bad. He can. But with what we've been seeing and the speculative rise of what we know of Ryan Garcia, well, Barrios, in most people's eyes, should be a person who, if he was getting a draw with the likes of Manny Pacquiao, then he should be able to do whatever he wants to do going up against Mario Barrios in the standpoint of Ryan Garcia. He should be able to get a championship with who, again, with all respect to Barrios, might be seen as one of the more, said multiple times, one of the more weaker champions at 147. Though now with people leaving the division, okay, it might be a little bit different. Might be a little bit different. A little bit more, but I've risen to the top a little bit with those that have left this division. And of course, with, again, Devin Haney reigning supreme. We don't want what looks to be arguably a refresh on the quality of career that we've seen from Ryan Garcia thus far. We don't want that to fall by the wayside and turn into a situation where now it's the same story yet again, that somebody who was all guns blazing, had what they needed in front of them, again lost their way. In regards to the volatility of that potential reality is indeed a sky-high affair. It is. It's a sky-high affair. It's a dangerous sentiment. It's something that can go awry, and I don't want it, but it can happen. It can absolutely happen. In fact, let me put out a poll real quick. Let me put out a poll real quick so I can actually see how you all feel. B, 1% B, here we go. Well, yeah, I'm gonna put this out and see how you all feel, because I want to get your thoughts and opinions on this. Will Will 147 be Garcia's best division? Will, do you think that the trajectory of Garcia's rise to full-blown stardom, not stardom, but accolades, finally starts here, where he gets the wins without any, seedy underbelly, where he gets the ability of a champion finally able to be called around his waist, where he gets the moniker of you finally took that full step. Can he get there? Or is it just, if it doesn't happen now, it might not ever happen? I want to hear from you all. Let me see. God Eater, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show with us on today. So happy that you are here joining us on the live on this Friday afternoon. Hopefully your day has been wonderful and beautiful, and hopefully you get ready to clock out of work, because I know, boy, I can't wait for this weekend. I think we got a bunch of fights as well, like with Sabril Matias. I believe that's the 10th on tomorrow. So we can talk about that as well also on the show. But let me see what you got to say. My daughter loves your channel. Could you say hi, Anita? Hey, Anita Henshop. Oh, hey, Anita Henshop. How you doing? Good to see you. Hi there. I'm so glad you like this show. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day, Anita. Hopefully you're having a joyous Friday afternoon. And wait a minute. Hold on. Let me make sure. Oh, okay. Had to make sure it wasn't a prank. But how you doing, Anita? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the show. And hey, if this is a real shout out, hey, hopefully you're enjoying it. Like I said, I'm genuine. If you make me a fool, I'm gullible. But if you don't, I'm so happy that you're tuning in, and I hope for sure that you want to be around. That you'll keep on sticking around, and hopefully, on this weekend, it's gonna be a pleasure and a joy. Hopefully, hey, maybe you get some money your way. Maybe you get some free food. I don't care what happens. Whoever's around you, in fact, hey, tell God Eater to come through and give you whatever you want this weekend. On me. I ain't paying for it, but it's on me. Just my flexing. I'm kidding. I'm messing. But look, I appreciate it. I'm so happy that you're with us. And hopefully, you're having a good time. And hey, shoot. Hey, stick around all the time, because we do this all day long. Of course you know that, because again, you love the show, and we love you, and I love you from the bottom of my heart, and everybody else tuning in right here on this show. It means the world to me, absolutely. I do appreciate it. And hey, hopefully that shout out made your day. Hopefully, and I'll tell you what, that shout out actually got me hot, because I'm sweating. Good, great day in the morning. It is hot up here. How the world is it dreary outside, but it's almost 90 in my room? It don't make no sense. I thought it was supposed to see this. This is the bad part about the South here in the United States of America. Cause my gosh, we ain't united in more ways than one, especially right now. But Lord knows, especially down here, the weather ain't united either. It was about 30 yesterday, 30 or 40 degrees yesterday. They can get above nothing but freezing. Now all of a sudden, it looks like For my UK fans out there, this ain't shade, all jokes, but it looks like London outside right now. But it's still so hot. I don't understand. Again, just jokes. Like I said, for my people over in the UK, I've heard some people complain. It's a little dreary over there more often than not from the weather. The people are incredible. The weather, I don't always copy. But again, just having jokes, just having a laugh. Just had to throw some shots. Had to throw some shots at there, because they said we had some people in the chat coming at the South. I'm like, hey man, we may have some problems, but I tell you what, I still rep my city, rep where I'm from. So don't get my get back. But even still, Well, I'm sweating like a stuffed pig right now. I feel like I'm on a spigot getting turned around on an open flame out in the great outdoors. It is ridiculous, but we still gonna make the best show of it. No question about it. But let me see what you all gotta say. Let me see. She's great. Thank you. No problem. Like I said, we aim to please and to entertain for the masses around the globe. No question about it. And hopefully, she's having a phenomenal time. I'm gonna watch boxing in Japan this weekend. Big weekend for Ray Ping. There, like I said, look over in Japan. There's a big fight over with I forget what Caballero is, but I think that's over in another place over in Europe. That's another big fight that's going on. Sabrina Matias and Smith. That's another big fight. Unless I'm missing a couple others, there's a whole bunch of legit big-time boxing matches for both the young stars and some legitimate movers and shakers in the contending rankings for various divisions. That it's almost too much to keep up with. Like I said, when I told y'all from November on, it's gonna be nothing but pedal to the metal with quality talent and quality work around the boxing world. It's happening. I'm telling you, it's happening, and it's great. I love it. I really do love it, absolutely. But again, but before we get too far into the well wishes of surrounding boxing environments, let's stick to one last thing about Ryan Garcia, and then I'm going to transition over to the next topics. And again, it's still the championship rounds. Be clear. You all can discuss whatever you want to talk about. And if I can talk about it, I'll talk about it right here on the show. You all control the ebbs and flows of everything we got going on right here. But while you're getting still getting your questions together, one more thing about Ryan Garcia. And we got some people voting right now. People say that right now it's 100% that this will be Garcia's best division to date. If that is true, that will mean that this would also mean that the discipline mentally as well as the filled out body physically should catapult Ryan Garcia into being top 3 in this division, from the standpoint of most likely to become undisputed champion, as well as beyond 147. We should start seeing him put together a resume that is not just worthwhile, but that is fitting of the expected success, or rather, put it plainly, the expectations of what Ryan Garcia was touted to be. And I'm going to give a very grave, but it is a very warranted opinion. It might not be right, but it is something that you need. I feel like if it doesn't get said, people are going to overlook it. If it doesn't happen for Ryan Garcia here, I don't know if it will ever happen for Ryan Garcia wherever he may go in his career. I'm dead serious. I'm so serious. If we don't see, if we do not see Ryan Garcia get it done and look, not just win. The win is the biggest thing, but it's not the only thing. If we don't see Ryan Garcia not just win, but look like a different, better, and more poised fighter when he fights Barrios, I will go out on a limb and say it's never going to happen that the expectations of Ryan Garcia that we have as fans, from all of the tangible evidence of what he should be as a boxer, we're never going to be able to say that it's going to exist in the reality of boxing because he can't get it. Whatever change needs to happen, or it has taken place, it's got to be, I need to see it be complete and substantial. Again, for me. And it's because I don't want to throw somebody out and say, there's no hope. At the same breath, I can't sit, and you, as we all, cannot sit and continue to allow for a fighter to skate by just proxy of fame alone. We're talking about legacy still. He talks about legacy. So he talks about him. He criticizes the Hall of Fame. He says Gennady Golovkin shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He says that the legacy of greatness, or rather the standard of greatness, should be stricter. That's all well and good, and the sentiment's right, but you also fall under that same umbrella. And because of that, where is your tangible proof that we should focus on you in the same way that we do? And that your fame, beyond just being a name, is deserved to be recognized and seen as, okay, this isn't just a flash in the pan of a quality talent, and then everything else is just ho-hum. It's Ryan Garcia. Let's just see a spectacle rather than let's see substance. That's what I don't want. That's what I can't fall into, or attempt to not fall into. And so I'm gonna leave the poll up. I still want to see what you all's opinions are. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say it now. If Ryan Garcia does not get it done here against Barrios, I'm gonna say there's no way that it does get done. For in terms of Ryan Garcia taking that leap, because he got everything going for him. He has closer to his walk-around rate than he's ever been before. The power that we've seen and the full-blown dexterity should be even better. Everything that we said that physically was hindering Ryan Garcia should not be a problem more than ever here. He should be more destructive. He should be even more potent with his speed and power. He should be able to not just take more punishment if he gets hit, but also have an ability to outshine his opponent physically. Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Did I say something wrong? What post? What post? Oh, wait, hold on. Am I still on the screen? No, I'm still on the screen. Wait. What post? What post? Wait, I'm a little bit confused. Hold on. Wait a minute. Whoa. What did I do? Hold on a second. What did I do? Something's inappropriate. What? Wait, hold on a second. Hold on, wait a minute. Time out. Wait a minute. Y'all help me out here. Did I do something wrong? Did I spell something wrong? I don't think I posted anything. Unless somebody done. I don't think I've done it. Hold on, wait a minute. Is there something going awry? Hold on, chat, help me out. Quick, we about to move on. Oh. You talking about? You talking about the other? But hey, look, like I said, that's why I said if it's fake, then it's fake, and I'm just saying. But if it's real, it's real. I ain't got no qualms on it at all. I'm just trying to like I said, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too gentle. Maybe I'm just too much of a soft spot. I don't know whether it was fake or not. Whatever the case may be, I'm just trying to go through and talk through. And we ain't gonna, as of right now, I'm just taking what I can get with engagement. And we excuse me. Hold on a second. Hold on a minute. If it's a troll, it's a troll, and sadly I can't control that. Like I said, normally I'm quick on those things, but if I got, I got. Oh well, so be it. And if I need to take it down, yeah, I will take it down. But we don't want to mess up the flow of the show. And if it happens again, like I said, I'll be more responsible with how I do it. But I won't mix people or nix people. But I guarantee you, I'll be more responsible because I don't want to get caught again. If indeed it is caught. But if it's real, like I said, it is what it is. And maybe because I'm in the flow of the show and I'm not really looking, what's the word? Fervently. as much Like I said, y'all, I'm new to this. I'm trying the best I can. I really am trying the best I can. But like I said, hopefully, if it is a troll, well, they got me. If it ain't, hopefully I made somebody's day. Like I said, I'm just a soft guy. I'm too genuine. I'm just trying to make everybody happy, best way I can, anyway. And so hopefully I don't get got like that again. And if I need to, yeah, I'll get rid of it if I need to. But for now, we'll just move on and say, it is what it is at this point if I got caught. And hopefully, hopefully nobody else. Hold on, wait. Hold on, we froze for a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, we're back. Okay, I think we're back. We froze for a second. I think we're back. I think we're good. We got scared for a minute. Are we good? Hold on, let me check my own stream. Are we back? Are we reconnected? Are we? Hello. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we're back. Got scared for a minute. But real quick, but see. So we ain't gonna waste no time. Get to the next topic of the day. We got 2 topics that we can cover. We can either go through Shakur and Tio, we can go through Inoue and criticism. And some people have right here, like with Ahmed and Rhoda, want to talk about the fight with Inoue and Nakatani. As we see with Ahmed and Rhoda, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. Inoue and Nakatani seems official. I think we covered that. Was it Tuesday or was it Thursday? Or it might have been early last week that we had just about confirmed from the ring themselves that Inoue versus Nakatani was going to happen in May around Cinco de Mayo. I heard it was the 7th of May. I heard it was the 7th of May. Some people say it's it's gonna be the 4th or the 5th, but around Cinco de Mayo weekend. But that stands to be, as of right now, that's about right. That's about it's about well and good that it's gonna happen, and I'm excited for it. Now, with that being said, we already got people already pushing Bam and Inoue as the next big fight to happen, almost overlooking the Nakatani versus Inoue bout that's getting ready to take place. And to some degree, it's due to the fact that there is a criticism on both ends with Nakatani as well as with Inoue. Nakatani, now with his performance against Hernandez, everybody has a very shaky ground as to, okay, can he actually produce against what's seen as either the second best or best fighter in the world at a weight class that seemingly he wasn't able to take, or what he wasn't able to be as dominant. Arguably lost his debut fight against a brother who in Hernandez, who, while he is powerful, again 20-0, or now 20-1 with 18 KOs on his resume, you couldn't really affect him. How are you going to affect Inoue? That's been a gripe against the likes of Nakatani that has maybe diluted some of the hype. But on the flip side, there's been some gripes against the likes of Inoue, which seems unfair, but it is a reality that's taking place and happening. And the reason is because of the fact that some people don't see Inoue as a quality, or as the same quality fighter that others see him as, from the sense of his ability as a top tier talent. And let me play the clip right now so you can see that entire conversation as in regards to what we have seen with Inside the Ring on the Ring Magazine's kind of exclusive boxing pundit show, almost like First Take in some degree, but with a whole different cast of characters, all surrounding nothing but boxing. They had some gripes about Inoue, and it sparked a real debate around the table that I'm gonna play the clip, I'm gonna let you listen to it, and then I'm gonna delve into whether or not these criticisms of Inoue are valid or not. And now let me switch to picture in picture. You all can see exactly what we are talking about. And please, if you would, keep on liking the stream and sharing the show, because it helps out immensely to get everybody else to see exactly what we got going on. But let's go and listen to it right here so you can see the gripes surrounding Inoue in lieu of his fight with Nakatani happening seemingly almost officially in May.
the monster, if I had to get him, if I was looking to get him beat,
go right to
I would
Espinoza.
say within a division of his division, I would say fight Espinoza.
Yes.
Can I ask you a question, Max? So you talk about like Usyk a certain way. You talk about Bud and them guys figuring things out. You don't see Monster the same way.
I think Monster has a ceiling.
I think you don't like the
really
Monster
do.
that much, and
I
I'm
do.
confused why.
I do. Espinoza's a monster.
I think so.
No,
I think
I'll tell you what it is from my point of view. You tell me if I'm right.
Monster's
Old
different, dude.
school boxing heads, when they see a twitchy guy who can fight, but that talent, the way he's honed his craft, is to sharpen it in a way where he's always applying offense with that talent, right? That guy is at least perceived by us until we see otherwise as more vulnerable in a tricky fight than a guy like Bud or Usyk, who score lots of knockouts, but don't always apply their craft super aggressively.
Yes.
Like Bud is an aggressive fighter, but he's not always on super aggressive mode. And so when you're trying to parse the, like really see the differences at the highest level, Bud and Usyk make people like old boxing heads feel a little more comfortable that they could figure it out. Whereas a guy like the Monster, even if he's multidimensional, we believe in the moment of truth, he's going to attack.
You said this the other day.
How about this?
You said it the other day yourself.
That's a great point. Because I heard the same thing about Pacquiao when he kept moving up. And all he kept doing was still more offense.
Well, he did get knocked out cold by Marquez. Come on,
I mean, you
Marquez.
Time out.
Yeah, Marquez
Dude,
clipped him
you
cold.
talking
Who
about
came in there looking like talking about drinking his own urine, looking like the incredible Hulk.
No. He got knocked out cold.
Brother, you tell me almost 9 weight classes later.
Yes, yeah,
all right, we're not talking about that. We're not doing that. So
you say in between.
in between.
Okay.
In between.
Well, hold on, we are doing that. This dude went up from 108.
Yeah.
Here are the divisions. He hasn't fought in every division,
Okay.
but neither did Pacquiao.
Right.
108, 112, that's one. 115, 2. 118, 3. 122, 4.
Yes.
Espinoza's 26, 5.
Okay.
5 weight
Okay, cool.
classes.
That's right.
That's a lot of weight classes to jump
But
on.
when you that special, you can do that. And a lot of people, I'm just saying, I learned this from Roy Jones, right? This is why I know I ain't wrong. He said everybody can move up in weight class. That's why boxing had weight class for a reason. He said when you are that special, certain guys can do it. And I believe that in no way is that special he can do it. Now, I'm not saying he's going to blow him out like that, but I think he's going to win.
Did you see that monster we just showed you?
Boy, did you
He's
see
the
the
monster. He's not the monster.
So you playing around. You playing around today. I don't know what it is. Yeah,
No.
Espinoza's the only one that I said
Me
he
too.
should stay away from.
Me too.
So here's the thing, and I played that whole clip so you can get the full context and all, but I played that because this type of thought process, going about with Inoue as he's continuing to be dominant, be on the rise and all that stuff, all well and good and great. This type of feeling against Inoue, and to sum it up, Malik Scott versus Malik Scott kind of represents that. I don't want to say old school, and they're turning to Max Kellerman, but more so, he represents that demographic that feels, in a way, is not everything that we say that he is. He's great, but he ain't as great as you may say. There still is, like I said, there's a ceiling that y'all saying he just ain't going, there's nothing there, but there is something there, and he ain't going to be able to do nothing with it. The other side is saying, hey man, we're witnessing something special. And it's due to the fact that Inoue's style and the criticism going against him, to put it bluntly, like Max Kellerman said, he's too reckless for people because they equate monster to people who you put everybody to sleep, you knock everybody out absolutely, but when you talk about monster, the technical identity normally isn't there. That's why he brought it in the same vein. He said Espinoza, that's the real monster at 168. And again, this is Malik Scott's words, saying because at 126, excuse me, because of the fact that Espinoza, you saw what he's doing to cats. You see how he's dominating people. Crazy enough, he sounded like a little bit like Stephen A. with the way he does the generalized outcomes. And he also brought up how Pacquiao, when Shady brought up Manny Pacquiao, moving up multiple divisions. He said when Pacquiao got knocked out cold because he was he was so aggressive and he was so offensive and it worked up until it didn't. Well, you also got to understand, one, to put holes in two of those arguments, Espinoza didn't look as great when we saw him in the last fight out. We were having some concerns about how Espinoza can be at this championship level at 126. All of a sudden, the seemingly, another version of a towering inferno. Don't get that. That's another person's nickname. Understandable. Sebastian Fundora. But in the frame of a big, tall opponent that seemingly you can't touch, and he can hurt you. He was that guy up until all of a sudden we had some questions since his last fight. Wait, there might be some exposure that can happen with somebody that is able to be good enough to take advantage of those holes. Which there are some people. Not just at 126, but also coming up to 126, like in a way that could take advantage of those same problems. And on the other side with Pacquiao, Shady said he was aggressive. Malik Scott said he got knocked out. Well, you also forget, Pacquiao beat him 3 straight times. Knocked him down multiple times throughout all those fights before Marquez finally got that KO win. If I'm being completely honest, I believe, if I have memory correct, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Pacquiao was winning that fight. Or was on the verge of at least turning that fight around to his favor before he got cold card KO'd by Marquez. But that doesn't mean that Pacquiao wasn't a aggressive, monstrous fighter. There is something that I don't get in regards to the criticisms of Inoue. That his aggressiveness is something that is being held against him. But yet we talk about how people like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and shoot, even like Floyd Mayweather in his prime when he was the money team, well, from a business perspective of his prime, the money team, where people were calling them boring, people were calling them not entertaining. The same thing that we say about Richardson Hitchens, where we don't want to pay to watch you because you're not giving me something to be excited about. But then when we do get somebody like that, now it's a gripe against him. And Malik Scott, again, with all due respect, brother, the way that you went about this same ideology is the same way that ruined Deontay Wilder under your own tutelage. Because you stripped away that reckless aggressiveness, and you try to mold him into a fighter that was, hey, this is what you need to be, because this is what a real boxer should be. Because if you're saying in a way, ain't, you love him, but you saying he's got a ceiling as if he's getting ready to fall under at any point in time, we overestimating him. Well, you gave Wilder his own ceiling when he could have been crazy enough to still be competing at a high level later on in his career if you had not tried to quell what their best attribute was. There's the reason why Freddie Roach was a perfect addendum to the talent of Manny Pacquiao, because what he accentuated in Pacquiao, in the aggressiveness, the volume, the speed, he refined by being able to blend the defense together. And with Inoue, it's the same thing. What people don't understand is that, this is why I keep saying, he's not a monster, he's a myth, because the defensive acuity of Inoue is one of the best things about Inoue in his entire career. His entire ability, his entire makeup of a boxer. He's able to take half steps back and be right in front of you, but you can't hit him like the likes of Shakur Stevenson. He's able to slip and set traps and counter like a Ben Rodriguez. He's able to box from the outside. He's able to work from the inside. He's able to use angles. He can trip you up with his feet. He can feint you and back you into a corner without having to throw a punch. And then subsequently, when you try to get aggressive with them, be safe and either block everything or minimize whatever damage that comes his way. Malik Scott and this, maybe it's a gripe with Malik Scott because of what he's saying as a pundit and as an expert and as somebody who's been at this world stage doesn't make any sense because of the fact that he has apparently him and others, because he ain't the only one that thinks like this, feel that Inoue is just a ticking time bomb that inevitably, like Pacquiao, will combust upon itself and just explode into nothingness. due to the perceived reckless nature. But in actuality, the recklessness is not the problem. You're missing the fact that, in a way, as a boxer, is not reckless. He's refined. He's aggressive. He wants the KO. But what makes him set apart from everybody else, like with the Floyd Schofields, like with the Deontay Wilders, like with, the Fabio Wardleys, you can even argue Artur Beterbiev. The elevation of elite defensive responsibility, anticipation, perception of what's coming at him and what you're going to do, and the dissection of the body and mind of whoever he's in the ring with is able to be done in such a honed in way that it allows for that recklessness to be acceptable for him. I am not saying that Inoue is not a fighter that he won't go for broke. He won't put himself at risk to get the knockout. He won't go and put himself in situations where we're saying, oh my, that's a dangerous state. I'm not saying that. But I said the same thing about Roy Jones Jr. He can do that because he's like that. Pacquiao could do that because he was like that. And mind you, he was doing that all the way up until he got to, again, Marquez fighting at 147, 147 or 154. One of those two weight classes. I believe it was 147. But he could do it. And he did it 3 times. Even Sugar Ray Robinson, you want to bring up like that, Sugar Ray Robinson got beat. What was it? What was it? Jake LaMotta? When he fought Jake LaMotta 5 times. Beat him 4 times straight. And then he, I believe he fought him, beat him, fought him again, lost, and then beat him 4 straight times, including, what was it, what was that fight? Was it called the St. Valentine's Day Massacre? Was that the fight? Where he went through and he beat, like LaMotta just wouldn't fall, but he beat him up in one of the most destructive displays we've ever seen. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Thank you, Albuga. But Jake beat him the first time, and then Robinson beat him straight all the other times. Ending in, I believe that one of the last fights, being one of the bloodiest affairs we've seen from a one-sided destructive nature, LaMotta just wouldn't fall. Testament to his chin and greatness. Yeah, see, I knew I was right in something. I got the top line wrong, but the amount was right. Beat him 5 straight. Clean his clock. But that's just by proxy. If you fight somebody enough, yeah, it's arguable that they're gonna get you. It's arguable that they're gonna get you at some point in time, especially when you're at that much of a great level. And it was clear that Pacquiao was the better fighter because he beat him the other times. 1 KO from a perfectly placed counter, which again, credit to Marquez for great enough. He was actually trading for that exact same counter in his trading room before he actually did it in the ring. Credit to him. You can't use that as a detraction against Pacquiao because, he got caught because, he was trying to do what's been working for him for upwards of 20 years. That we have all touted was one of the hardest styles to fight against that gave anybody not just trouble, but he beat everybody that he fought against, just about. Recklessness for a certain demographic of people is seen as a blight against boxing, which in my understanding of the sport doesn't make sense at all. It doesn't make sense at all. But again, from Malik Scott and others, it seems like it's a blight against people. If you are perceived as reckless, all of a sudden, you ain't that good. Somebody's going to get you. Somebody's going to catch you. Next thing you know, you ain't. I told you, you ain't all that in a bag of chips. And the way he was talking about him when comparing him to Espinoza, this isn't me saying that this isn't me saying that Espinoza isn't a great fighter. No, but like we've said with negative comparisons, where destructive comparisons, you aren't using this as a means to bring up a fighter You're using it as a means to demean somebody else. And in all actuality, you can't find somebody, even if you want to say that anyway, he's a reckless fighter, which he is. I'm not denying. He can't, but he has the capacity to do that because of what he has honed as a boxer. Max Kellerman was hit it spot on, but there's even more to that. It's not just the fact that he makes people of a certain field that think boxing should be a certain way feel uncomfortable. His recklessness is what they only see without the other stuff. It's the same thing that was going on with Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is one of the most technically gifted boxers that we've seen, not just in the heavyweight division, but in all time. He made the pickable style not just work, but he made it better than what it was when Floyd Patterson had it. And Floyd Patterson was the youngest champion ever at heavyweight. And he came through and he broke it, he shattered that record. And he perfected what was a style that if you couldn't do it right, you were prone to get pieced up. His art of destruction wasn't just because he had the capacity to go and knock you out, that he was faster than everybody, which again he was. The physical gifts definitely took hold, but it was also defensively, he was so responsible. He was so sharp in his prime with the movements that he made. He could do that stuff because he understood the sweet science on a level that everybody else didn't. Roy Jones, similar way. He could do what he did in the ring. That again, we could call Roy Jones reckless, and he was reckless with the way that he would fight. But yet he could do it because he understood this game at a rate that most other people didn't, and his body could be able to commit to the things that allow for that type of reckless style to work. Hands down, hands behind his back, taunting and dancing in front of his opponent. Low blow punches where he's winding up like Sugar Ray Leonard and then flicking out the jab with the opposite hand. Windshield wiper punches and then ankling out and then landing an uppercut and then dancing his way out to the back. He could do that, and he wasn't calling him reckless. They were saying that's the art. We're saying man, if Boots can do even half of that, we're saying that would be an incredible fighter. But that's reckless. But it's because the moniker has skewed the perception of what he is. When in actuality, what he is more than just a knockout savant, somebody who just looks for the KO. You're missing out on the technical expertise that makes it so that if anybody else did what he was doing without what he can do on the science part of the spectrum, they would get knocked out. They would get beat. They would get cold clocked. But you can't then say, yep, we've seen him hurt. We've seen him caught. He's going to go down and eventually up. It's going to be over. Floyd Mayweather got rocked all the time. We've seen Shakur Stevenson get rocked. We've seen Terrence Crawford get rocked, but you don't talk about him in the same way, do you? You don't say that he's uber reckless. But still, within a way, it seems to be a certain threshold of acceptance people just can't get. Even though he's shown there is nothing that should impede you saying he is worth his weight in gold. Even against other divisions. You can say that Espinosa is the biggest threat to him. I've even said that Espinosa is the biggest threat to him at 126 because of their height. That's still well and good, true. But we're not going to act like that Espinosa is a perfect beast. Because sure enough, if you watch his last fight, he ain't. And if you think that Inoue doesn't have the ability to deal with that, because, he's too reckless. When we've seen him, don't forget, against Ahmed Ali, he boxed for 12. He didn't just brawl. He boxed He chose to straight up make Akmadali look like a fool and boxed for 12 rounds straight against one of the most destructive punchers at super bantamweight, who was seen as the person who he was ducking, and he went and mopped the floor with him. Mopped the floor with Stephen Fulton, who at that point in time, and he said it was a better boxer than the likes that Espinoza has ever been from a technical perspective. And he outboxed him and then went for the kill and got the kill. I don't see, he's had too many examples where he's been able to deal with this type of stuff and be at a high level on both ends of the offensive and defensive spectrum while still committing to, I want to put on a show. And it has been outside of Lewis Neary and Cardenas. And again, if you want to say Nonito Donaire, that's fine. But because the Donaire was a fight that had all of a sudden resurged back into as close to his prime that we had seen in that Super Series, beating everybody. And he still came out on top in a way that was undeniable. There is detractions, and then there's hate. There's criticism. Then there's hate. From Leak Scott and a couple other people, it's a little bit of hate. A little bit of hate. Shrouded in the perceived notion that the monster identity is a reckless mentality. Though he can be reckless, in a way, he's not a reckless fighter. There's a difference. And if you think that just because he's gotten caught a couple times means that, yeah, he's prime pickings to get put to sleep against anybody, you're going to be well and good mistaken. And that egg on your face is going to be mighty loud. About as loud as it was when we saw Eubanks throw it on Conor Benn. It's going to be just like that if you ain't careful. Anyway, if you think he ain't special like that, even going up to 126, you're going to be sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. But let me see. Al Booker fans complain we don't get the big fights. Then they talk down when the big fights come along. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make, you should be saying, I want to see what he can do against that type of size. The only reason why, and again, I had even said in the past, I don't want to see Inoue fight against Espinoza yet. Only because I need to see, for that career, or for that trajectory, going up to 126, I need to see a little bit more of defensive development post the knockout of, what was it, Lewis Neary. When again, he had gotten caught. Okay, wait a minute. Before you get up there, there's some stuff you need to fix. Though you are almost as complete of a fighter as I can imagine. He went, got those things fixed. Subsequently, after Cardenas. And now, hey, he's right on the cusp of 126 after this fight with Nakatani, most likely. So, I'm for the fight. But you shouldn't be saying that. Just completely detracting from the brother, as if he's just he ain't really never been as great. Because like I said, but the way that you thought, taking away the best attribute of somebody, with even if it's perceived as a reckless nature, is the very reason why you have turned Deontay Wilder into a bronze statue. Yes, you. Your very frame of thinking is the very reason that your fighter went to pot and it still hasn't recovered to this day because of your teachings and your ideology, which again showed up in the show. It's one and the same. As a coach for him, you took away the very reckless nature that allowed for Wilder to be Wilder. If you strip away the ability of, in a way, to be reckless, though he's not reckless, he can be reckless. But if you take that away entirely, sure, he turns into, again, what we saw with Stephen Fulton, but at the same breath, he is not nearly as much of a full, flushed-out fighter as what we're seeing with him now. You can't do that. But you're trying to do that. And I'm telling you right now, You would have ruined Pacquiao. You would have ruined Inoue. And any other, you would have ruined Marquez if you were training him. Why? Because your ideology of what it means to be a quality boxer is the very thing that is the very reason why you're stripping away the best aspects of every boxer that you're trying to train. Because you're as a coach, you ain't up to snuff. At least for Wilder, but it might be for other people as well. You can have your, I know better than you type mentality. You can have like, I love him, but I'm telling you, he ain't what you thinking. You can have that, but I'm telling you, by your own track record and by what we've seen with these other fighters that you say are too reckless for your nature, they wouldn't be nearly as great if they thought like you. Why? Because that aspect makes them them. And you trying to take it away, and it's a shame. It is a shame. And let me say, and again, that's why I said multiple times, he is reckless. In a way, has been reckless. But he's not a reckless fighter. There is a difference. Navarrete is a reckless fighter. That's a reckless fighter. Wardley, that's a reckless fighter. Isak Cruz, though he's more refined, that's a reckless fighter. He'll throw caution to the wind. William Zepeda, that's a reckless fighter. He just won't stop throwing the kingdom come. Sabrina Matias, to some degree, a reckless fighter. This isn't a bad moniker. It's what they are. It's what makes them them. Without that, they couldn't be what they are. So you holding that against me, it's a shame. It's a real shame. It's a real shame. So be careful when you're thinking like that, because that is a very negative connotation. No question about it. But even still, again, we're still in the championship rounds. I still want to see what you got to say in regards to the world of boxing and beyond. Like I said, it's still you all's show to control. You all got full say of whatever you want in regards to everything involving this sport and beyond with boxing, NBA, NFL, and all that stuff. But as we keep on talking, we still got more to cover, like with a little bit more with Shakur and Teofimo Lopez, which, again, we're going to talk about, probably we're going to talk about this in some capacity every single week because of the fact that everybody is still clamoring to see this fight happening. Everybody is getting very much anticipatory for what is going down on January 31st. But in regards to that as well, we have one thing I wanted to say, or at least to put on your mind as we are still working towards this fight getting closer and closer. Do we think that Shakur Stevenson can be as defensive as he's been over the course of his entire career against Teo? Or will he have to have a little bit more of William Zepeda than he wants to in terms of to bring out in this fight versus Teo, lest this goes in a negative direction? Could it be? Could it be? A genuine question. A genuine question. Will we see Teofimo Lopez be forced to use more of that William Zepeda identity than he wants to? From the standpoint of how he fought against Zepeda, he might have to do, though he might not want to do it, against Teofimo Lopez more than he would like in himself. Can he win that battle? I remember he was saying he was saying that he was going to show Teo a little bit of both, a little bit of both affairs, from the standpoint of how he's going to fight him. He's going to box, he's going to brawl. Teo can't do a movement. All that's well and good. But question is, can he afford to fight in as much of a low output manner of defensive counterpunching wherewithal, going up against Teofimo Lopez, who, with as smart as he is, might not give him those openings to be able to score at the way that he wants to score. And if it does turn into a fact where it's just a, faint jabbing type of affair, does it favor Teofimo Lopez? Due to the fact that the way Shakur fights, naturally backing up against his opponent, and with Teo being able to well, hopefully being able to better call off the ring than what we've seen in the past, can potentially put Shakur in a very dangerous situation. And I say that because when I went back and watched Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, or more so Shakur Stevenson than anything, back at some of the fights he was doing, back at some of his fights at 135 and at 140, since he's gotten into this division, both the good and bad, offensively, it's not a question who's better offensively. It's Teofimo Lopez. And even when going off of the back foot of a fighter, being able to, though again, we had struggles chasing him around, trying to catch him and all this stuff, but making a fight out of it. He has he showed some good lights, even in those low points in his career, of, okay, he's still giving him a good chunk of trouble because that naturally gifted offensive repertoire, coupled with the mind of knowing what punch to throw and when, it's good. That hand speed, if you haven't really taken into account, it's underrated. There's an argument that his hands are faster than Shakur Stevenson. Though Shakur, stays sharp at all times, that kind of loose nature of Tio, where especially when he gets in rhythm, when he's able to go through and if it starts tapping his feet, putting his hands down and posturing right in front of you, daring you to do something, he's got reactions, instincts, and movement. Not just hand speed, but movement speed. To close the gap or land something on you. Catch and parry at a speed that, hey man, I didn't realize it was that fast. Hey, he can be a person that forces you, okay, as a counter puncher, I'm getting beat. Crazy enough. And that could be the same thing. That could be a moniker that we see having to Shakur Stevenson. With Shakur being, again, a counter puncher, going up against somebody who can play that same game in Tio. It could be a situation where we see Tio, dare I say, get the upper hand. If it's a judicial affair of very concentrated offense, very frugal. Is frugal the right word? Stingy offense. That's the better word. If it's a very stingy offensive game, where each of them are not trying to give the other a bunch of openings. Well, it could be well and good that Shakur might be in a negative position, because he doesn't want to throw as much and look to be the second one to react. I'm telling you, Teofimo Lopez as a boxer, if it gets to a point where he's backing him up, Shakur keeps trying to feint something out in him, and Teofimo Lopez keeps on feinting as well, but Tio's feints are causing Shakur to back up, to move, to get into a position where he's losing his own real estate. And then Tio's able to score as he tries to escape, and they do that song and dance over. It could be potentially that by the first, 4 or 5 rounds, Tio might be up or it's tied. And now, if that's the case and Tio feels like, okay, this is comfortable, Shakur might have to dig into that place that he doesn't want to dig into. All right, I got to start trading with this kid. I got to start standing my ground, and we got to land some more significant stuff to start peeling away. Because this counter-punching, pot-shotting style that I want to have, it's not working. We talk about styles make fights, and that is well and good true. Stylistically, some people are just made to beat other people. But at the same breath, somebody can have so many styles they can access that all of a sudden, what they are garnering from a standpoint of ability can mold into your worst nightmare as the fight continues to delve on and on and on. And that's what can happen with Shakur Stevenson. His defensive posture of a boxer can turn him into a fighter who is indeed, hey, I'm scoring, I'm moving back, I'm still going here, and here, but all of a sudden, Tio, off that jab, parry and land a jab of his own. Parry and land a jab to the body. And then slip out from what Shakur's other counter would be. And then keep on fighting, keep on giving him some looks, keep on going through and making Shakur bite on everything that T.O. even attempts to do. And subsequently after that, we then get the likes of T.O. gaining real estate, gaining ground, being seen as the aggressor, being seen as the person who's trying to make the fight happen. And Shakur, especially if we can't land at the same high efficiency rate that we normally see him land and outclass opponents in when it comes to accuracy. All of a sudden, well, at some point in time, it's round 7, getting into round 8. T.O.'s getting more confident. T.O.'s starting to move. T.O.'s still playing your game, but he's actually in control. Posturing, turning his head, doing all this stuff. Now he's still fighting, but he's goading you into doing something because he feels he's got you now. And the only way you can combat him, if that doesn't work, is to go into your other plan B, which is, all right, high guard up, head forward, body back, and we're going to trade for trade. See if I can block and land more than you. Or go to the ropes. I'll give you the real estate. I'll give you the opportunity to score on me like you think you can. And then I'll work off the ropes. I'll catch everything and I'll land better counters. And then boom, we'll see we'll see who has the better hand then. Because he is willing to go to war. Like he showed he can go to war like that. But if he does that against T.O., like I said before, that inside fight is something that Shakur doesn't want to do. That inside fighting is something Shakur does not want to do if he has to do that. Especially on the ropes with a better, stronger, more responsible puncher as well as a smarter fighter as a whole in the likes of Teofimo Lopez. Who he can pick apart if you try. He can pick you apart. If you try to say, yeah, I'll sit on the ropes and I'll let you think you can do what you can do and I'll just land counters on you to kingdom come. He won't be as easy just to do that same level of work against. He won't. There's a real opportunity here where Shakur's own style can put him into a hole if somebody plays that game better than him. Because we said it could be a boring affair. It could be a boring affair. Why? Because both of them could choose not to throw. Both of them are adept at being counterpunchers. Both of them are adept at being able to react off of what you can do. Both of them are superb at being able to land shots when you're throwing in between punches. Both of them are. But if we start seeing that T.O. uses that type of mentality, because he can play that game as well, and he uses that against you, all of a sudden you, as Shakur, if you get put in a position where you are losing that very battle of longer fighter, bigger reach, perceived to be better defensively, but you still cannot land. And T.O.'s landing enough where in this low output affair, he's matching you with shots that the judges and crowd are seeing, and you're also always backing up. It could go from 1-0, 1-1, 2-0, or 2-1 on scorecards, all of a sudden 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3. Next thing you know, T.O.'s up going into the second half of the fight, and you still don't want to change your way, but you might have to. Because now that defensive IQ, it's not just being matched, but it's being mirrored. It's being mirrored. It can be mirrored. It'll be in a more flamboyant fashion, but it can be mirrored. It can. And if so, what will Shakur be able to do then? It's an interesting thought to have. Because the hand speed of T.O. has the capacity to beat out what Shakur would want to do with his length and with that jab when he's fighting on the back foot. And if he is able to keep on fighting on the back front, like I said, because Shakur is normally always right in front of you. He's not moving left and right. He can slip and roll, but that's not his main forte of defense. He's that Philly shell, full step back, blocking everything, jumping out the way, and then trying to circle back out and then doing the dance over again. But a lot of stuff that he does, he catches what you throw. Not as much slipping. He either gets out of the way fully or he catches a lot of stuff that you throw. Playing that type of game against Shakur when you don't make a miss fully. As in like with Sandro Martin, using the head movement to make him miss. Like with Sugar John against Boots, making him miss, not just going through and blocking everything he's doing. Because Evan Neal didn't try to block out everything that Boots was throwing. Then he got put to sleep. We've seen people try to block as their main form of defense against Teofimo Lopez. Normally, he blows through that and takes him out. Shakur, because of how he fights, is prone to that same type of identity that Tio, though on this level, he's never fought from the standpoint of this much. I can't say that because he fought against Lomachenko. He's fought at this level of what Shakur is seen as with the talent. But from a elite defensive responsibility-driven fighter, that is not Lomachenko, who is trying to, again, still be offensive as his main recourse of action. This is something that, on a defensive end, while Tio hasn't faced at this level, he's faced enough similar types of, I don't want to get hit by you type of opponent, to where, especially now, we can perceive him as grown. And we can perceive, especially when we go off of what we've seen with sparring when both of them were in the ring with each other. He can put Shakur potentially in a bad situation. He can. He really can. As much as we can see the mental toll of frustration that Shakur brings to Teofimo Lopez due to the fact that Tio is, again, going to have to find him, going to have to chase him, going to have to walk him down. And Shakur is with the defensive mindset that he has, isn't going to give a bunch of real estate, or isn't going to give a bunch of real estate for him to hit, as well as it's not going to be, it's going to be patient enough to where, yeah, I'll keep on playing this game, though you don't want to play it. As much as that can take into account the mental fortitude that we've had with Teofimo Lopez on when the going gets tough. Okay, what are you going to do? When stuff isn't going your way, how are you going to react? As much as that's the case, which it can very well be the case, same thing falls on the other side of the spectrum, where we can have Shakur play that game and think he's going to go and get uber zealous trying to make something happen. And Tio doesn't do that. And all of a sudden, it gets to a point where it's too close to call, and Shakur, if he wants to eke something out fully, he's got to go and just fight. And if that's the way this fight goes, it could be a dangerous situation for Shakur Stevenson. It could. At least in my estimation. Not saying he's going to lose, but I'm saying it could be a dangerous sentiment, a dangerous way. Because all these questions revolve around with Teofimo Lopez. Hey, as Tio, as a boxer, the mental capacity that you have, though your IQ is incredible, your fortitude and foundation has been a very shaky ground. And most people can point to Shakur Stevenson as being more strong-willed, more deliberate in his solitude of self. That if something goes wrong, we don't have Shakur questioning what he can be. We don't have instances of Shakur Stevenson asking, do I still got it? We don't have instances of Shakur Stevenson looking at himself in the mirror and saying, what am I? Regardless of whatever situation. We've seen him cry for the Olympics, absolutely. And there's no shame in a man crying. Absolutely not. He got robbed in the same way that Floyd Mayweather got robbed. And Floyd cried as well. Roy was distraught as well because he robberies, absolutely. Crime is not the issue. But that was from the standpoint of I did the stuff right and I didn't get what I was supposed to get. Now I don't want that pain again. Fortifying himself and ensuring himself. And we saw what happened as his career went on in the pros. Floyd, same thing. Roy Jones Jr., same thing. What it birthed was a mindset that from the pros debut on, every single vantage point that he was faced up against from the standpoint of types of opponent did not faze him to where he couldn't be what he was. Still kept true in some way, shape, or form. T.O. wasn't the case. And we had him asking, do I still got it? Because that being a question that we've seen T.O. ask himself publicly on a stage where it was, again, perceived he should be able to take it out. We can say Shakur's got that as an advantage, and that might be the biggest advantage that all he needs. The very fact that I got a better track record of mental, not just dexterity, from the standpoint of when my mind is stretched and when my emotions are running high, I'm better at staying me than you are. I'm better at not losing myself than you are. I'm better at keeping myself composed than you are. I'm better at being able to go and work through the problems rather than letting them get to me than you are. Though we've seen them both work through problems on paper from the track record. Coming into this fight, we can say all we want about Teofimo Lopez having all the goods, from the strength to the speed to the bag of not comparable, to the deep bag of game plans and skill sets that he can bring out at any given point in time, which is true because he's that great of a boxer. Same breath, the mental stability inside the ring, when stuff gets hard, Shakur has shown a better track record of. And because of that, that can be all that needs to happen. When that fight does get close, when that fight does get where it's kind of hard to see who's going to win, when it's stuff isn't working on either end of the spectrum like each boxer thought it would, now what are you going to do? It's getting more and more acceptable that I can keep my cool from the standpoint of Shakur Stevenson and not be the first to get to the point where I'm making mistakes because I'm panicking to some degree. Then Teofimo Lopez, if the fight gets out of my control. So I would say this game is 90% mental, 10% physical. Because that way of work, when the going gets tough, how much can you still sustain yourself? And for T.O., if that answer is still a problem, like with Sandro Martin, like with Ortiz, well, it could be curtains. From the standpoint of, yep, this fight, you can't get it done. Hypothetically. While the talent level that we've seen T.O. be at has been higher than Shakur. Absolutely. Higher than Shakur's ever faced in his entire career. Because he fought Lomachenko and Josh Taylor. While that's higher, the stability is not. The stability might be lower. Depending on, while we can say T.O. looks good now, while we can say he looks great now, while we can say everything seems in order now, which is all well and good, and I'm happy for it. Quick as a drop, it could come through and unravel. And how is he going to handle that? We got a better idea of how Shakur can handle it. T.O. might be a different story. Could be a different story as we go and keep on devolving. Not devolving. Not devolving. As we keep on developing and talking about this fight. That's going to be a big factor. I guarantee you. I promise you. It's going to be a big factor, absolutely. But still, we got more to cover on this show that we want to hear from you all in the comment section, in the chat. Again, it's still the championship rounds. Be clear. Me doing this show, I still got topics, still got plot points, and all that stuff. We can still talk about the NBA and whatnot, but it's still you all's show to control. The whole show every Friday is the championship rounds. We want to hear from you and your thoughts and opinions in the chat down below. Whatever you want to have as a conversation, plot point, as a question, debate, concern, for whether it's a box or anything else. Dream matches that you would like to hear or talk about. Another fight that maybe we are not taking as fervently as something can happen. I want to hear from you all as to what can transpire and what can go down in your own minds and in your own thoughts. I want to hear it all, absolutely. So please keep on chatting in the chat. Keep on going through and liking the stream. Keep on sharing the show. And hey, shameless plug, if you can, leave a like on the video. And if you can, support the channel. Catch up PayPal. Links down below in the description. Also, don't forget you got super chats, gifts, and stickers and whatnot, all of whom help to make this show bigger, better, and stronger, all for your viewing and listening pleasure to help us to further commit to the goal of making the show the hottest show in all of the globe right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. No question about it. We still want to hear your voice and your thoughts and opinions, but we still want to go through and keep on talking about this fight. Also, don't forget, we also got, as we see the matchup, as we see the face-off right now, we got Subriel Matias going up against the likes of Dalton Smith coming up on, this is tomorrow, this is tomorrow. It's tomorrow, as you can see right now.
WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World. The final time they'll face each other until they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night for the main event. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Thunder Smith. All brought to you by Juan Orengo's Fresh Productions and sponsored by Extra Vite Supplements and Vitamins.
Heavy.
We'll get a chance to hear from both of our fighters. Q&A session with boxing broadcaster Corey Erdman, along with the former world champion Raul Marquez.
After this fight is going to be a fight that Matias has got something to prove. I guarantee you, I promise you, there's going to be a Subriel Matias coming for blood. He coming for blood. He is coming for blood this fight.
12 rounds WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World. The final time they'll face each other until they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night for the main event. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Thunder Smith. All brought to you by Juan Orengo's Fresh Productions and sponsored by Extra Vite Supplements and Vitamins. We'll get a chance to hear from both of our fighters. Q&A session with boxing broadcaster Corey Erdman, along with the former world champion Raul Marquez.
Now he's trying to clear his name, and subsequently, especially with these ticket prices, or rather with the arena tickets at the Barclays Center seemingly not selling at the same rate. This brother's trying to make a statement that, hey buddy, y'all better recognize and pay attention to me. Because I am not somebody to mess with up.
12 rounds WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World. The final time they'll face each other until they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night for the main event. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Thunder Smith. All brought to you by Juan Orengo's Fresh Productions and sponsored by Extra Vite Supplements and Vitamins. We'll get a chance to hear from both of our fighters. Q&A session with boxing broadcaster Corey Erdman, along with the former world champion Raul Marquez.
We got to see if Smith can hurt him. We got to see if Smith can hurt him. We had to see if he can hurt him. Because the biggest thing about why that Terminator mindset of Matias has been able to be so successful is because of the fact that Matias
12 rounds WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the World. The final time they'll face each other until they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night for the main event. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Thunder Smith. All brought to you by Juan Orengo's Fresh Productions and sponsored by Extra Vite Supplements and Vitamins. We'll get a chance to hear from both of our fighters.
land better shots
Q&A
off.
session with boxing
Just like
broadcaster Corey Erdman, along with the former world champion Raul Marquez.
Blood running everywhere, puffy eyes, swollen lip, orbital fractures, structural damage. It's happening. That's how much of a potent puncher Subriel Matias is. It's not the fact that he's beatable. It's the fact that how he
12 rounds
wants to beat.
WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the world. The final time they'll face each other until they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night for the main event. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Thunder Smith. All brought to you by Juan Orengo's Fresh Productions and sponsored by Extra Vite Supplements and Vitamins. We'll get a chance to hear from both of our fighters. Q&A session with boxing broadcaster Corey Erdman, along with the former world champion Raul Marquez.
If I had my pick of a fight, I'd want it to be Subriel Matias versus Gary Antoine Russell. I would love for that to be an affair of potent offense and complete
12 rounds WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the world. The final time they'll face each other until they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night for the main event. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Thunder Smith. All brought to you by Juan Orengo's Fresh Productions and sponsored by Extra Vite Supplements and Vitamins. We'll get a chance to hear from both of our fighters. Q&A session with boxing broadcaster Corey Erdman, along with the former world champion Raul Marquez.
Being one of the champions again, I would want to see him versus any of them, because his fight with any of those great, and I do mean great quality names, would be box office money.
12 rounds WBC Super Lightweight Championship of the world. The final time they'll face each other until they meet in the center of the ring tomorrow night for the main event. Subriel Matias versus Dalton Thunder.
So appreciate that fight actually taking place and happen. But also, real quick, hold on, my voice is going out. Hold on, man. Oh, I'm saying, gotta make sure. I thought someone was in the background. My bad. I'm sorry. I thought I dropped something on the floor. But anyway, regardless of which, I want to see this take place, because if he wins at 140, everything else behind him turns into a knockdown, drag-out brawl. Don't forget, we could get a Subriel Matias versus Lamont Roach type of fight. Then that would be a bigger version of Isaac Cruz versus Lamont Roach, from the standpoint of a voluminous puncher with thudding power, but also fits the same bill of height as you. Ooh, that would be a very interesting affair to witness and happen. Because imagine Lamont Roach dealing with that type of relentless monster, and his power can't work the same way. Or rather, his length and speed of being able to box like he did against Isaac Cruz might not work the same way against the likes of Subriel Matias. With that, again, long, lanky punch that he's able to throw. He can get you. And if you say that Isaac Cruz is able to knock you down, Subriel Matias, buddy, he can do a lot worse than that. He can do a whole lot worse than that. So that'll be an incredibly interesting affair, an interesting fight to witness and see. Absolutely. Also, there's another fight that's happening on, it's either this weekend or next weekend. I do want to make sure that we can touch on real quick. And again, it's still the championship round, so you all can have your voice and conversation added to the mix of whatever you would like us to discuss in regards to anything we talked about in the world of boxing and beyond, whether it's Nakatani Inoue, whether it's Shakur versus Devin Haney. Not Shakur versus Devin Haney. I'm sorry, not Shakur versus Devin Haney. Shakur versus Tia. I don't know why I'm thinking Shakur versus Devin Haney. That's a fight crazy enough. I don't want to see. And be clear, it's not because I don't want to see that fight for the sake of star power versus star power. If we saw Shakur get up to 147, it's because of the fact that Shakur and Tio versus Shakur and Devin Haney, we at least get aggressor versus defensive fighter in Shakur versus Tio. Shakur versus Devin Haney will essentially be nobody. We think that Tio has the potential to be boring because nobody might make a move, but the same thing could happen up here. In a worse state with Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson. Lo and behold, I repeat, do not want to see that fight. And my goodness, oh Lord. No. I would not want to see that at all. That would be absolutely terrible. Also, and here's the real thing I wanted to show and touch on from the sense of the boxing. Also, before I do that, let me see Ivan Roda. Anyway, in Bam is not a super fight. It's a super butt whooping by anyway. Well, see, now you can feel. Hey, this is a great topic of discussion. You can feel that Anyway and Bam is not it won't be a close affair due to what you think Anyway is going to be able to do against the likes of Bam Rodriguez. Understandable. But as a fight, I think I would feel that's a super fight. I would. I genuinely would. I don't know about you. But I would think that's a super fight. I would think that is a super fight. Because the quality of opposition as one of the only other people in the world that has Anyway or has an Anyway level type of resume with beating everybody 1 through 5, dominating every regard against every sort of opponent, constantly being undisputed, multiple division champion, getting better and better every time we see him out in a fight. There is a real track record where the parallels of greatness are in some ways similar. Anyway, it's more accomplished, absolutely, but it's an insane level of work that we've seen Bam Rodriguez face off against. Bam versus Anyway would be a complete and utter war. I would love that as a war. I would love that as a fight. No question in my mind. None whatsoever. That would be an incredible display of quality work. We talk about the angles and footwork of Bam Rodriguez to the power and speed of Anyway. Supercomputer mind versus another supercomputer mind. Now, if you think that Bam Rodriguez again at 122 won't be able to do what he's doing at 115 or 118, okay, fine. That is a warranted criticism. Now we have to wait and see till we get up here to get a taste of what you can be, like what we saw with Nakatani when he fought against Hernandez. That was a taste of what it's like at 122 against a real dog. What can you achieve? Well, it has us having a lot of concerns. If we want to say that Bam can translate up to what Anyway is at 122, that is a pretty exciting thought to think about. Not overlooking Anyway versus Nakatani, but as again, with that three-pronged triangle of danger, that three kaiju triangle of dominance that all of them are, yeah, I would love to see Bam and Anyway fight. I would love to do it. And let me see, like I said, Anyway can become 4-way undisputed, and Southpaw still won't give him the credit. And like I said, he won't, people won't. It's a common sentiment that you're going to have detractors and haters everywhere. That's why we try to be unbiased on this show. Even with all of our criticisms, we never try to go and be disparaging against a boxer when their resume is worth its weight in salt. When their resume is indeed something to be praised and behold as something incredible. Because it is incredible. It is incredible. What Bam and Anyway have accomplished are some things that we, in the modern day of boxing, with the business of boxing getting in the way, has been ridiculous. It's been ridiculous in every way, shape, or form, in a manner that nobody ever expected to be had in the modern day era. They're doing it. He's doing it. And he's showing from a technical perspective, he's a threat. And in a way, it's definitely showing, hey man, I'm the head and shoulders above the rest. Amongst this divisions of 118, 115, and 122, I'm head and shoulders above everybody. And deservedly so. If you can't give credit to that, well, you can't give credit to anything. If you can't give credit to that, you can't give credit to Canelo. You can't give credit to Inoue. You can't give credit to Terrence Crawford. You can't. You can't give credit to Usyk. You can't. The double standard is the double standard of support systems in the world of boxing fandom and outright viewing greatness when it comes to fighters. It's not the same for everybody. And by that I mean it's not, everybody's standard of greatness is indeed similar. But even across the board, there is a consistent level of, okay, that boy good. That cat's great. That man is phenomenal. That woman is incredible. Regardless of where I have them as, there's an undeniable ability about them. And when it comes to Inoue, he's got that in droves in a way that most of the other public just doesn't. Most of them just don't. If they did, we would be talking about it. But if you didn't detract from that, you detract from everybody else as well. And it's a shame. Inoue might become fighter of the year again. He could. Now, I will say, with how people are moving now in the boxing world, there might be a little bit more competition. There might be. Might be a little more competition involved in making this race for fight of the year in 2026, though it's incredibly early, a little more divisive. Benavidez, perfect example, is a front runner for that. Absolutely. Benavidez being a fighter who is looking to take on Zurdo. He beat Zurdo Ramirez, moves back down and fights against Artem Beterbiev, or even better, he stays at cruiserweight and he fights Jai Apatai after beating Zurdo. If he does beat him, well, then you got to talk about a lead. That's arguably leading contender. That's arguably leading contender for fighter of the year. You got Canelo if he moves quick at 168 and he fights against Shiraz and wins the belt and goes and takes 160. It goes and takes super middleweight titles again. Got yourself a conversation. Huh? You got Bebo if he comes back and he fights Beterbiev. He beats him and he goes on a tear and fights Benavidez. Calls him out. Benavidez comes back down. He beats Benavidez at 175. We got ourselves a conversation. He's in the running. Anyway, beats Nakatani. Goes and stays at 122. Bam comes up. He beats Bam. We got ourselves a conversation. And I'm keeping it to 2 fights because most of the threshold for fight of the year comes from people that fight 2 times a year. Inoue fighting 4 times a year is an outlier. And if it wasn't for Terrence Crawford on everybody's list, not just mine, if it wasn't for what Terrence Crawford did to Canelo on everybody's list, Inoue would have been fighter of the year because of the volume and the density. But if we're keeping it to the average of 2, yeah. There's a bunch of people that can make some real drastic moves in the world of boxing. He really can. Shoot, I dare say Tank has an opportunity to get there. Now that sounds insane. That sounds insane. I know.
We got some problems here.
That sounds insane. That sounds ridiculous. How in the world can Tank be fighter of the year? Well, Tank could do it if he went through the ringer, immediately got to 140, fought Lamont Roach, beat him clean, and then fights the winner of Shakur and Tia. And beats one of them clean. Dare I say he fights 3 times a year, like he said he wanted to do last year. And he fights Lamont, Tio, and Shakur all within this year. My gosh. You couldn't be telling me now Hey, he wouldn't argue. He wouldn't have a potential running conversation that we could see Tank, if he does everything the right way, win Fight of the Year. Now, it's not likely because, again, Tank moves like a bum. He doesn't actually want to smoke. He doesn't actually want to fight. Tank has been a stain on boxing from the standpoint of how he's been walking through his career in and outside the ring for a number of years. That's on him. But if he does move in a way that is conducive to that level of success, well, we give him the flowers that he deserves. That's all we're saying. And Tank as a fighter, especially with Shakur and T.O. fighting early in the year, there is a very good window that he could fight both of them. It's a very good window. You got to understand, everything's set in place perfectly for every fight that we wanted to see Tank get into, he can get into. Tank fighting Shakur after fighting Lamont Roach. Because if Shakur beats T.O. and both of them stay at 140, Tank fights Lamont Roach, beats him and gets the rematch done. All the buzz and all the pizzazz surrounding that fight, he gets the win hypothetically. And then now everybody wants to see him get the championship. Gary Antoine Russell's a good threat, big threat. It's a very dangerous fighter, but for the money and for the legacy, specifically with the money, nothing matches up more than Shakur and involves Shakur, a better Shakur at 140, with Tank now fighting and finally giving the fight that fans have wanted to see, which would be one of the biggest fights of the year this year, Tank versus Shakur Stevens. That can happen in May or July, middle of the summer, at whatever stadium you want. And it will sell out in droves. Be the hottest ticket in town. You could argue for the States, it would be the most lucrative fight that anybody can make, which would be more incentive for Tank to make it happen. It can take place. And then subsequently afterwards, November, he comes through and now he's able to fight. And he fights Teofimo Lopez and handles 2 birds, 1 stone, or 2 birds in the same year. 3 fights in total. That's a fight of the year. That's a fight of the year candidate. With that type of talent, yeah. But he's got to do it. But there's an avenue. There's a lot of ways that we can see people push in a way to get pound for pound, not just number 1, but to get Fighter of the Year honors. There's a lot of ways. There's a whole litany of ways. There's even a path for Manny Pacquiao. Crazy enough, at 147, Pacquiao goes and fights Rolly Romero. That fight hypothetically finally gets made. Though I think it fell through. Something happens and they run it back up and it works. Okay, fine. Fights Rolly Romero. Gets that fight. He beats Rolly Romero for Rolly's title. He beats him for his title, hypothetically. Then goes through and fights Devin Haney at 147 to try to become a unified champion. Now everything looks a whole lot better. Or he beats Rolly Romero and then Ryan Garcia to become a unified champion, then faces off against the likes of Devin Haney. After Devin Haney beats, well, not even beats, if we don't see a fight with Ryan Garcia and Barrios take place, I'm sorry, if we don't see the fight with Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney take place, if we see Barrios beat Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney beats Barrios, and then it's unified versus it's unified champ versus one-time champ Pacquiao versus Haney, going at each other for the unified titles. One of that fights against potentially Ryan Garcia, and what will be a potential another undeserved but still given opportunity for a championship for Ryan Garcia. We see Pacquiao win those. Fight of the Year. It's a lot. I'm telling you, it's a whole bunch of paths that can, even Ryan Garcia can become Fighter of the Year if he comes through and he beats Barrios, beats Devin Haney. And you can throw in there rematch Rolly and take his belt. and get the win. This time, actually get the win. Those 3 fights, it'd be hard pressed to say that some of that type of density with name recognition, as well as forget getting just 1 championship, but you get unified, potentially 3 belt unified in a year. We've been waiting to expect you to move and do something qualitatively that's worth everything we've been asking for. Yeah, that's part of your contender. It's going to be. But the main thing it boils down to, all these different names, all these different potential outcomes, all come from the basis of you all got to move like him. Y'all got to move like Inoue to get the same respect as Inoue. That's the thing. Y'all got to move like Inoue to get the same respect as Inoue. People keep on missing the point that the reason why Inoue is consistently in these conversations for Fighter of the Year is because of the fact that everybody's got to move like Inoue, because if they did, they will be put on the same pedestals, but they're not. If we saw Boots fight Virgil Ortiz, then fight the winner of Fandora versus Keith Thurman, then afterwards fight Idro Madrimov or Boa Chuck or Xander Zayas, and within a year get 3 to 4 belts in the division, all of a sudden, we're talking about him as one of the 3 best fighters in the world, most likely, or at least top 5. But it's because you're moving in such a rapid pace of quality work. It's like, okay, ain't nobody else doing what you're doing. Everybody else is doing what everybody else is doing right now. Only a select few are moving in a manner that we got to take into account in a whole different light. Bam, Usyk, though with that fight with Wilder now, it's kind of put that stock down a little bit. But Bam, formerly Usyk, up until this fight with Wilder, David Benavidez, in a way, probably before he retired, moving through and trying to do some work. We got people that are starting off out to get hot. Abdullah Mason off of his subsequent win against Sam Noakes, but if he gets a fight with, let's say, Floyd Schofield, he gets a fight at 135 with another dominant champion. In fact, shoot, at 135 he goes and tries to unify immediately. And it goes through the ringer of, okay, we are going to be working quick at this division to make this my division. We got ourselves a conversation. Hey, he could be at least in the running. And he might not have as much of a density-driven work, but he's got work that is undeniable. Undeniable. He fights, dare I say, he fights the winner of Andy Cruz and Murtala, beats them. As the first fight of the year off the backs of his fight with Sam Noakes. Then fights Schofield afterwards. That's a pretty substantial move for a young career. Quick, decisive work with a density that is separated from the rest. That's what we want. That's all we want. Yeah, but it's going to be hard pressed to do it against Inoue, because Inoue is the breed. Inoue is the one that's going to do it. I think he will. Be clear. I think he will. Because the role with Inoue, also we got more people. We got more people in the chat. Excuse me. Like with Just Do Boxing. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Hey, buddy. Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. Peace and love to you. How you doing? So glad you're back. Like I said, this is the championship rounds where anybody can put their thoughts in anything involving the world of boxing and beyond, whether it's the NBA, whether it's the NFL, and all that stuff. We're going to delve into a little bit of NBA as well, because we got some time on Friday as we have some trades with Trae Young going to the Wizards, and everybody is all in a very much where careers go to die. Is that the case, or are the Wizards potentially trying to build actually something substantial? Do we feel good with the Atlanta Hawks going through it and essentially getting CJ McCollum of all people as their replacement for their multi-time All-Star when they were trying to build something around Trae Young, and now you're getting an aging, mainly he can give you 30 a game, but that's about it from the standpoint of a quality star, I might have gotten, the rug pulled out from under you on that trajectory of success. And my gosh, how far they've fallen with Atlanta going and fighting and playing with John Collins, with Trae Young, with DeJounte Murray, with Kristaps Porzingis, all were on that team. And now it's amounted to nothing. Most impactful thing that we've seen is a Knicks series where he beat the Knicks in the playoffs and then making Ben Simmons start the beginning of the end with forcing Ben Simmons to pass out of a shot when he was in Philly. That's about it. That's about it. Still a great player, but my gosh, underperforming would be an understatement for what that organization has been trying to make with Atlanta, with Trae Young as the main guy. But again, we can talk about that if y'all so choose, as the topics are still pouring in for the world, from around the world, of what you all want to discuss on this championship rounds edition of The Watchable, which we do every single Friday. But again, thank you all for tuning in and thank you all for listening. But even still, going back to Inouye has the capacity to where he can fight Nakatani, he can fight Ben Rodriguez, and he can fight, depending on if he wins, Shushu Carrington at 126, Espinoza, Angelo Leo, who's the fourth one? And Nick Ball. Any three combinations of those names. And if he's moving up, it might only be two. If he chooses to move up, it might only be two names that he's going to be fighting. Because again, as he's going to let his body kind of work to properly mold into the division. So it might only be two. But if it is three, Nakatani, Bam, and then Nick Ball, or Espinoza, or Shushu Carrington, if he wins a championship this year, or as soon as the 31st. I think he is fighting for a title on the 31st. So let me just make sure. Chat, help me out. Is Shushu Carrington fighting for a championship on the 31st? I'm trying to remember if he's fighting for a title, because there is a vacant title at 126 right now. I need to check and make sure he is indeed. Okay, yeah. So yeah, he's fighting for the vacant. He's fighting for the vacant WBC featherweight title. So at 126, he's fighting for a world championship. He's been asking for this opportunity. He wants this opportunity. He's been seen as a big-time star. Everybody's all up in arms that this man could be up next in the world of boxing. I am hopeful that he reaches that pinnacle and zenith from I believe, from Brownsville in Brooklyn. Has that background, similar background to somewhat of the likes of Mike Tyson. He has a whole lot of quality tools. Yes. He definitely has the business of boxing looking at him as he can be a next great American fighter that everybody wants to pay to see. No question there. No question there. But at the same time, if he makes it happen, he's going to be in there some real dogs, and as well as with Inouye coming up there. You're going to have to deal with that. Now, that's a whole other conversation of whether or not he can or cannot make that happen. But it all starts with the 31st. It all starts with the card of being the undercard of Tio and Shakur. Which is why, again, going back to what I've been saying multiple times, that card with Shakur and Tio is going to be a distinction of setting the tone with every other, not just division, but ripple effects of how boxing is going to go throughout this year, with the volatility that is on the line with this fight. Not just with the Shakur Tio fight, but every fight, but the subsequent undercards under. There's a lot of movement that's going to go on. Most of the people who win here are probably going to get a headliner event this year. Down the line, they're going to be featured as the star. Most people, they're going to get a main event that's going to be bigger than they've ever experienced. They're going to get an opportunity to fully embrace being one of the marquee stars in this sport at some point in time after this fight. It's going to happen. trajectories of careers are going to move and change with the results of this fight. And it's going to be, all eyes are going to be on this fight because it's one of the most highly anticipated fights of the year. One of the most highly anticipated of the year. Where you will be able to get in the same ranks of names and of rank. Like Inoue. It can happen. From the standpoint of you will now be in position to have your name and their name be intertwined because you carried it. Being a champion with Espinoza, being a champion with Nick Ball, you got an opportunity to become unified. You got an opportunity to become a two-belt holder. Take the shine that Nick Ball's got over in the UK and apply it to your own stuff, and you get an opportunity to fight him and beat him. Be the man to beat Espinoza before anybody else. And truly expose all the flaws that people are saying he's got in his game subsequently after his last fight and put the world on notice. Hey, buddy, I'm a different breed. Come see about me. You can do that if you win on the 31st. If you do it. So it's incredible what is at stake. And that's why I'm so excited for everything that's coming through. But again, it's still you all's show. We still got, it's what we've been on here, 2 hours, 17 minutes. I don't want to make sure, I don't want to try to drone on too long, but I do want to make sure you all can go through and still have your voice be heard and seen for the masses to witness and enjoy and to have your opinions seen throughout the world. And whatever you want me to talk about, I can still talk about it right here on a fan-dedicated show, 30 minutes to an hour, where you all control the conversation of where we go with this entirety of the show. Going back to the poll at hand that we had close to the start of the episode with the question of will Ryan Garcia and his best division be at 147, we got 60% of you all saying yes, 40% of you all saying no. And so that fits the bill of what I've been saying. It's now or never with Ryan Garcia that we see the fruits of his potential start to blossom in the rosebuds that we can all start smelling. Because we want to see him succeed, sure. But we also want to see that he is both mentally and physically up where he's supposed to be. It fits the bill. And this fight with Barrios, it's going to be harder than you may expect. And it's going to be a litmus test of if you should be unlocked in every capacity of what you are physically. And mentally, you say you're in a good headspace. The gym work shows that you seem like you're you're where you need to be in disciplined nature. Show us that it is tangible evidence with an in-ring performance that shocks us all. That's what we want to see. And get a championship around your waist. That's what I want to say. Did you talk about Sabril versus Dalton already? I did. I think I did like 30 minutes ago. If I didn't say who I said was, I didn't say who I said was going to win. I think if I'm going off of who I think is going to win, I'll say Sabril Matias. I'll say Sabril Matias. I'll say Matias. I'll say that Matias is going to win this fight, and it's because Dalton Smith. Again, both of them are very heavy-handed fighters. Both of them get punched. Both of them got popped. Can Dalton match the work rate of what Sabril Matias brings and be able to last up until Matias gets tired? Mind you, last fight that Matias fought in, I believe against was it Alberto Puello? Was that the last fight he fought against Puello? That Matias fought against in a majority decision? Yeah, Alberto Puello. Alberto Puello fought an incredible fight where he fought himself back into what was perceived as potentially a draw. Though Matias got the majority decision. When it comes to Puello, though, he was able to take advantage of Sabril Matias actually somewhat getting tired by the time that 12th round came about, as well as keeping up with the overwhelming offensive nature that we have when we're looking at Sabrina Matias and what he brings to every other opponent. Mind you, he's got, what was it, the fourth highest output in boxing as a whole, and lands the fourth most out of everybody in the sport of the highest outputs in boxing. So of that volume, he throws the fourth most punches. And then amongst the people who throw that same level of volume, in that top 5, he lands the fourth most amount of punches. For real. It is like the pace that he works at is so, it's stressful. It's a stressful pace. On top of the power, it's a stressful pace. It's a taxing pace. It's a painful pace because you're still getting hit with stuff every single time, and seemingly you can't hurt the brother. You can't hurt him. No matter what you can't hurt him.
We got some problems here.
You can't hurt him or rock him to the point that he stops his own aggression. You can't do it. As much as you want to try, you can't do it. And trust me, people have tried. People have tried, but they can't get it done. And that's what we have to deal with when it comes to the likes of Dalton Smith. He's got to deal with that. I don't know if he can. I don't know if he can. So I think we're gonna see him win. Let me see. I'm in we got. Hold on. Wait a minute. I feel like I'm. Hold on. I feel like some chats came and went. Hold on a second. Hold on a minute. We had chats that were here, and all of a sudden I can't see them. Hold on 1 second. Wait 1 minute. Oh Lord. I want to see what you all got some good conversation. I'm trying to make sure I can actually. What happened? I can see the chats, but I can't click on them. Okay, well, okay. I'll read them, and then we'll go back and we'll get this thing fixed as I'm trying to still read you all's chats. I gotta go with Sabril. Yep, I gotta go with Sabril as well. Sabril has the experience, a quasi hometown fight. Plus, hey, look, he got proven wrong. He got proven innocent. The Austrian got proven innocent. Okay, he got proved to be innocent with the Austrian situation, which is why this fight is still for a championship. So it's still for the full WBC title. If it wasn't, he would have gotten stripped. So he wouldn't have been in line to fight for it. Or he wouldn't have been eligible to fight for the title if it was indeed the Austrian thing stuck. He was proven innocent. We did cover that about a couple of weeks, about roughly a couple months ago. So we can say that. Now if he pops dirty again, okay, look, we're gonna have a problem. We're gonna have a major problem. But as of right now, everything seems to be on the up and clean. As of right now. Not innocent, just below the allowed limit by this particular commission. Yeah, that is true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Dang it. So there's still some questions out. We'll see. There's still the question's still out. About Smith, let me see. More like he got lucky. He cleared enough out of his system before he got tested. Yeah, that could be. Hey, not gonna lie, that could be real. 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 Oh, this is why I can't stand supplements, because they just make the whole of the boxing world so much more difficult to deal with when it comes to trying to figure out what's what in this sport. My gosh, it's yeah, this ain't gonna. Matias gonna have to deal with this for a long time. You're gonna have to deal with this for a very, very long time. But let me keep on reading what you all gotta say. Dalton is a live dog. I feel Dalton might stop Matias, and he might. Like I said, Dalton. He's. I don't blame him. I'm rocking with Dalton. I get you. Again, Dalton. He's what? 18-0. He is 18-0 on his career. Don't forget that. Dalton Smith, he's 18-0. But it's undefeated. Undefeated and shoot, how many knockouts he got on his resume? The Butler, if I remember correctly, the Butler can swat. Yeah, he's 18-0. He got 13 KOs on his career. Of the last, 1, 2, 3. Before his last fight with Jermaine, is Matthew? Is it Matthew? Oh no, Tyrus. Not Tyrus Matthew. I'm sorry, Matthew Jermaine was the last fight he had a unanimous decision in. But the Butler won, and he knocked down Jermaine in the second. Knocked him out. He knocked him down in the second, 11th, and 12th. Got deducted the point, but the Butler he was just able to stay up. But it was a unanimous decision. So we're looking at Matias. Hey, buddy, this is a cat who, if we want to say somebody can punch with you, if we want to say that the rumors of your indomitable Terminator that nobody can get to, you can be that Terminator that all of a sudden he starts getting at you. All of a sudden, you were in trouble from the standpoint of him as a fighter. He is able to be reckoned with to some degree. He's able to be put on a dangerous situation with that type of aggression that Smith might be able to catch him, hurt him, and actually stifle that type of constant flow of movement. It can happen. Yes, it can. As unlikely as it may seem, it can happen. Oh, yes, indeed. And if so, my goodness, it can be incredible to witness, no question about it. Let me see. Hate to admit it, but I'm still a fan of Sabril. I'm here again. You ain't the only one. There's a lot of people that are still fans of Sabril, even after this whole PED or Ostarine situation. Dalton is here to put Matias away. Yeah, he can absolutely do it. I feel Dalton's going to stop him. Let me tell you, hey, look, if Dalton stops doggone Matias, oh my gosh, oh my goodness, that would be insane. If Dalton stops Matias, that would be ridiculous. That would be, again, we've seen Matias rock. I've never seen Matias hurt. He stops Matias. That would be one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen. One of the most insane things I've ever seen. I promise you. One of the most insane things I've ever seen. Bar none. One of the most insane things I've ever seen, bar none. Dalton Smith has a good stance. He has youth. Yes, he does. Dalton won't back down. Matias' chin might give in. Again, that would be a surprise if it did give in. Let me see. I would be shocked if we knocked it. Thank you. Yes, I would. I would be shocked. I would be incredibly shocked. That's gonna take some kind of, just bludgeoning. That's like when we saw Joe Joyce get knocked out. That was uncommon. That was the fact that Big Bang Zhang rocked Joe Joyce when he beat him the first time was ridiculous. But the fact that he put him out the second time in that type of fashion, when I had never seen him hurt ever in my life, was one of the craziest things I had ever witnessed. Because of the standard that had been set with what Joe Joyce's chin was. Sabril Matias is about the same thing. You can beat him, yeah, but you knocking him out is almost like a pipe dream, unless it becomes reality. You can make it a reality. Hands up. Because I ain't got nothing to say except for, hey, buddy, you showed your mettle. You showed your mettle, and there's nothing I can say. He's going to get cracked hard. And Smith has very good punch technique. I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. It's the one thing about Matias, though. He's so relentless and reckless that he smothers your own technique because of the fact that he's always pushing back against you. It's an offense that swarms. Again, he's a swarmer. As much as he is a brawler, he's a swarmer. He'll consistently come in and throw stuff. He'll throw shots that he'll get in the way of the punches you're trying to throw. The very fact of him throwing almost acts as a pseudo framing weapon because he just constantly, it's limbs and appendages always in front of you that just won't let you be, no matter what you try to do, no matter what. It won't let you be no matter what. It will not let you rest no matter what you want to do, no matter how you try to fight. And you'll get to a point where you all of a sudden you get overwhelmed and you might just start shelling up. You might just start having to isolate and gain some ground. But boy, that's gonna be hard to stop. It's gonna be hard to stop. It's gonna Dalton can, but it's gonna be a very difficult road to climb. Body shots might be the key for Dalton. Now that's a good point. That's a really good point. That's a perfect point. The body of Smith, the body of Matias, it is open. The body of Matias, it is open to go and land on him. It truly is. It truly is open to get landed on. But my gosh, if you miss, or if it doesn't take effect, boy, it's a mess. Let me see. Right, he gets hit a lot, but he doesn't get hit cleanly too much. That's the thing. Matias is. It's hard to say, or it's almost. What's the word? What's the word? It's almost, when we talk about Subriel, his defense is not the thing that makes him hard to hit or damage. It is the fact that you trying to hit him in the face. He's so relentless. Even when you try to throw, something is always coming at you that acts almost as like tree branches that mitigate or rather derail the punches you trying to throw, and then he's back in with another shot. If you're trying to pick your shots, he's just going through punches in bunches, not even bunches. It's just a constant trail. It's not even a flurry of shots. There's no breaks. That's the thing. There's no breaks. Kind of like a William Cepeda, but a lot more deadly. There's no breaks to what Matias throws. None. It's just a constant volley of throwing. It's a constant volley. And the best way to hit him is to the body. If you can get him there, okay, you might have an answer. But my gosh, the work it's going to take to get him there is going to be it's going to be insane. Absolutely. Also, MS, yo, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning in to the show. We're so happy that you're back. We're so happy that you're here. We are so happy that you are tuned in with us on today. On the show. It's a pleasure. It's a time. And we appreciate you. Yep, Subriel keeps coming till he breaks you down. That's the thing. It's a battle of attrition and damage. Who's going to quit first and whose gas tank is going to give out first? Whose gas tank's going to give out? And for the most part, it ain't been Matias, except for maybe one time. That was against Puello. And even against Puello, he fought into a majority decision. He got outboxed and lost one time in his career. Yes, absolutely. But in the whole of the reality, it ain't easy. It ain't easy in the slightest, because you're right. You got to deal with, even when you do the right stuff, you're getting something taken out of you. How long can you keep on doing the right stuff until the pain becomes too much unbearable, or until the fatigue becomes a situation where, okay, now even though I'm doing it right, I can't get the job done. I can't get the offense going at the same rate anymore because I'm getting nicked and dinged up. And again, it's the same thing that we see with Errol Spence when he was in the front, or Benavidez. Now, the breakdown process makes it so without you doing anything wrong, you're still being put on the back burner. How much of that effect will happen in the fight? That's what we're going to find out, and that's what I can't wait to see. Absolutely. But let me keep on reading. Dalton has the accuracy to land clean shots, especially the body. He's going to need it. He's going to need it. I'm telling you, he's going to need it. It's a good work. And both of y'all, Al Booger and Rhoda, y'all are right. That's going to be the thing. That's the nail on the head. That is the nail on the head. But boy, it's gonna be a matter of time. It's gonna be a lot of work to get there. Absolutely. Let me see. Teddy Berkshire, how you doing? Also, good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy that you're here with us on today. Greasy Garcia. Yeah, that's what a lot of people. Yeah, see, I knew it was coming when we had Garcia. And then again, the question was the discipline of Garcia with this newfound body that we see him having. It seems like this is going to be the best fit for him at 147 as the road to the peak of his powers starts truly now. Well, can it take effect and can it happen? Oh, it seems like now 62% say 147 is the place to be for Ryan, and then only 38% now are saying no. So if that's the case, most people are feeling that this is the place to be where Ryan starts his true magnum opus of physical ability, where it shines in the hole. Like I've said, and again, broken record, but we need to see that standard of discipline stay true. Because I said this at the top of the show before some of y'all got here. If Garcia cannot beat Barrios at 147, when it should be that there is no, in any way, shape, or form, no hindrances physically, and discipline-wise, you should have it together now. I'm going to say that you're never going to get it. I'm going to say it's never going to happen. I'm going to say it's never going to happen. If it goes down that road and we don't see you take this fight and beat Barrios, and be clear, Barrios can beat Ryan Garcia. It is not a given that Garcia is going to be able to beat him. No, it ain't. Far from it. If anything, this is going to be a test of whether or not Garcia is going to be worth all the hype that we've been saying, or if he never was, in actuality, as good as we said he could be. We're going to find out. Yeah, we definitely going to find out. Absolutely. That's where Dalton can put him away. Attack, deliver. Yep, absolutely. That Puello versus Matias fight was awesome. I had Puello, but I'm biased towards box. No, he boxed his butt off. Be clear. Puello boxed his butt off. That was a phenomenal fight. Clash of Styles that made an incredible war, but Puello boxed his butt off against Subriel Matias. That's why that fight started to change after the halfway point. That's why it did. Because he was able to get accustomed to the power, then was able to actually catch Matias consistently in between his punches. It was a great fight, no question about it. No question about it. But let me see, uppercuts down the middle can be used as a weapon in reference to against Matias. Yep, absolutely. They can be. They're talking about PED by with Ryan Garcia. Yeah, it can be. I'll tell you, hopefully he's clean this time. We ain't got to worry about nothing going into this fight at 147. We shouldn't need anything because this should be the best version, most powerful version, most dominant physical version that we have of Ryan Garcia fighting at this division. It should be. No qualms, no gripes, nothing going against him. It should be. My gosh, if we see him pop again at this division, well, ban him, straight up ban him, because there should be no need. There should be no need at all. And I got Barrios beating Garcia. Yeah, like I said, if you do, I'm not going to fight against you because I know good and well he can lose. He can lose this fight quick and in a hurry. Quick and in a hurry, he can lose this fight. Let me see. Trying to keep on reading. Facts, Puello boxes butt off. Perfect style matchup, absolutely. After Miller, I can't put anything past anyone. I mean, look, Jarrell Miller. Let me tell you, that brother was call that brother Bang, because he was taking everything under the sun. There was forget just taking a PED. This brother was looking like, well, he was putting himself through his own batch of experiments just about having every drug imaginable under the sun in his system. That's why he couldn't get to fight with Anthony Joshua. He ruined his own chances to be able to fight and potentially beat the likes of Anthony Joshua when he popped dirt. That's the whole thing. That's a whole different can of worms. From the perspective of ridiculous capacity. That's a whole different can of worms. No question about that. Let me see. I want to lean Barrios, but dang, he's just not really very good. I like Barrios, but I don't know. Again, Barrios is a boxer. see, Teddy, you insane. See, Drago from fucking. And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? I'm about to get to your comment. Absolutely. But you know what's crazy? Ivan Drago, the brother was blatantly taking drugs, and there was no drug testing at all. Like, it was blatant. Running around the track, injecting something in him. Running around the track, popping pills as he's running. How did nobody? Where was the ring? Where was the WBC? Huh? Where was anybody in regards to sanctioning bodies? Where was VADA, WADA, or any of the drug commission? How did he allow that to happen? How was he able to move up in the ranking? He killed Adonis Creed. Not Adonis. He killed he was Adonis Creed, right? What was his name? What was his first name? Hold on. Wait a minute. What was his first name? What was Apollo. I'm still thinking of Michael B. Jordan and Creed, Adonis Creed. No, Apollo Creed. He killed Apollo Creed in the ring. Killed him. Blatantly. And there was no drug testing afterwards. He was doing the same stuff to opponents, ending careers all throughout his run in Mexico and not Mexico, in Russia and in, the professional scene, and nobody batted an eye. But it looked as juiced up as the WWF during the whole scandal. Insane, ridiculous. How did he let that pass through? It's insane. It is ridiculous. No, but again, this is just something I just thought about. There was no drug testing throughout that whole affair. They just let it happen. Just let it happen. Just because. I dare say the entire heavyweight division was juiced. I dare say. Everybody except for Rocky, because we saw Rocky. Everybody else, we ain't see their training in as extensive manner. Who knows? Everybody could have been juicing by that time. Lord knows. Rocky 4 wasn't saying. Your doggone Roddy wasn't saying. That was ridiculous. I still love the movie. Still love the movie. But my God, it's insane. They don't care. They don't care. Honestly, I was thinking the same thing. Just rewatched it a month ago. See, I knew I wasn't the only one. I knew I wasn't the only. It's insane. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how they let that slide. My gosh. But even still, oh Lord, it's insane. Also, yes, rest in peace to Carl Weathers again. One of the better action stars we've had. Shoot, not just of any generation. I'm being completely honest. From Predator to Rocky, even with the comedy that he did with the comedies that he was able to do with Happy Gilmore, he was an insane actor and stupid. He was a stupidly athletic man, in real life as well as on screen. Ridiculous. I mean, this brother, he could have been a bodybuilder. He could have been, if he really wanted to train in boxing. But if he had actually taken that seriously, though it's only an on-screen persona, he could have had some actual skills. He legit could have had some actual. I'm not gonna lie, because they had to train boxing in real life to get ready for these roles in the various Rocky movies. And Carl Weathers, he took up that stuff. I mean, quick, and he was built for it. And though he was seen as heavyweight, at that point in time, he was like, 185? I mean, maybe I'm with the way he was cut, looking like 185, 180, maybe upwards of 190. But if he actually box, he might have been able to actually do some real damage with, again, proper training and whatnot. Because that boy, he had built like a brick house. I tell you what, was insane. But even still, shout out to Adonis Stevenson. Yep, shout out to him. Absolutely. But let me see. But wanting to be the guy. But wanting to be that guy will lead the cheating. Especially if they already cheated. Old habits don't die hard. Yeah, again, we're talking about Sabrina Matias, yeah. Or we're talking about Ryan Garcia. Either one of them. Yeah. It can happen again, but hopefully it doesn't come into that situation. Action Jackson is great. Yep, Action Jackson as well. Is again that is a common phrase. Action Jackson is the greatest Jackson. Crazy enough. Speaking of which, you know what? Let me not get too far gone. That can go down a whole another rabbit hole of situations. That's what I always remember. Him as not Apollo, but Action Jackson. Yeah, a lot of people loved him as Action Jackson. No question. That was one of the more polarizing roles that he had in his career. Between Rocky, Predator, and Action Jackson, I mean, I always thought that the Rocky films were the most potent. Come to find out, a bunch of people remember that brother. I mean, a bunch of people remember that legacy as Action Jackson, and rightfully so. No question. But let me see. If Dalton wins, him and Adam Azim is going to be massive. Yeah. For the belt as well. And if Dalton wins by KO, yeah, that fight's going to be huge. If that fight does happen, that fight will be huge. Carl Weathers played pro football for a couple years. He did. I forgot. He did. He absolutely did. And in fact, they actually featured him. What was it? Was it Madden 24? They had a special card in Mutt where you could play as him, I believe as his actual position of middle linebacker. But they honored him and a bunch of other people as well for like Hollywood celebrities and stars who played in the league. And yeah, no, he could play. Like he legit before acting. He was an insane athlete. Absolutely no question about it. Anybody that cheated in referring to, or anybody that cheated in response to your last comments, especially in Ryan Garcia is who you're referring to. Let's hope and pray that with Ryan Garcia, that's not an issue. Hope and pray. Because like I said, if it is, we're going to take him to the ringer. If it is, we take him to the ringer. We say, it's whatever. But if it's not, then yeah, this could potentially be a new leaf that we've been waiting to see for Ryan Garcia for for a big plethora of time. Let me see. Oh, word! I might have to buy Madden just to play with Action Jackson. Yeah, I believe it's Madden 24. I believe it was Madden 24 that he had it. Now, granted, I don't even know the service might have been discontinued with the way that they, EA and other games use online. But yeah, you could get him as a card. Legit, I think it was like a 96. That buddy could hit. That buddy could crack. That buddy, he could. I mean, you put him. You put a hit stick on somebody in Madden, buddy. You were most likely getting a fumble, and a great coverage receiver, great coverage linebacker in the world of No, I'm sorry. He was a great blitzer, phenomenal hit power. You get a hit stick with him, most likely it's gonna be a fumble. And was good in the zone, but as a rusher, that's where he shined the best in the game. But again, that's because I played with him. I had him. Not to brag, but I used to have my days, in Madden. But hey, look, I could play now. I ain't paying no money either. Was straight up with cards, rewards, and grinding. I did my thing. I kind of took a break from Madden for a little bit because I got kind of tired of the ineptitude of the company. But even still. No, I had him. I wanted to have Roman Reigns. He was on there. They had a bunch of people that were on there in actuality. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool nonetheless. But let me see. Wasn't no black superheroes. Wasn't no black hero movies, especially after the black exploitation movie era. Yeah, no, there wasn't as many. Like I said, you had Dolomite back in the day that was kind of when it took the world by storm, but it was part of that black exploitation era, which again was it's called black exploitation, but it also helped you innovate the genre of what a black action hero could be. Negatives and positives, and a lot of the positives helped cultivate a lot of the stars and heroes that we see now, especially in the African American community, that were like they were the precedents. They were the set points. They helped make it possible. You saw with Enter the Dragon, the black buddy that was on Enter the Dragon. Part of that, era, though it wasn't necessarily black exploitation, but from black exploitation films, those were able to come about. The Last Dragon, with the glowing red aura and all. that helped to come. They helped to come into effect because the building blocks of success. And then when Carl Weathers and others came along, well, he just took the world by storm. One, not trendsetters, pioneers of this genre of action film, where black stars and actors can really be seen as, hey, we are. It's more than just white folks that can be doing all this cool stuff. We can do it too, and we can look good doing it, and also have an incredible appeal for the masses around the globe. It was incredible. And he was, again, one of those people that helped kind of break the barriers, per se, and to make a fixated point to cast ethnic and black stars into roles where they can actually shine. It's why, which is why we see a lot of more other action stars of multiple races being able to be seen and done today, which I love. Oh, so great. Absolutely. But let me get over into what you all got to say. We had Superfly, Dolomite, yep, Black Belt Jones, yep, Black Belt Jones. Now again, I'm young, understandable, but I got to know some of these films I got to see when I was younger. So I was like, I know who you're talking about. Absolutely. In fact, they had a spin-off of it with Black Belt Jones. That's when you got the likes of what was the brother on who was the dude? Who was the guy on Boondocks? Who was the brother on Boondocks that was kind of the black, karate martial artist action hero, kind of satire? What was his name? Bushido Brown. That's what it was. That Bushido Brown. That's what it was. Bushido Brown. Yep. Let me make sure.
We got some problems here.
Was it Bushido Brown? I think it had to be, wasn't it? Who was it? Yep, Bushido Brown. That's what Bushido Brown. What? Yeah, he was one of the. He was a character on Boondocks that was a satire and also an homage to that kind of the black martial artist action star. I love Bushido Brown because it was a perfect encapsulation of all of those figures that I'm going to watch. Oh, it's incredible. I love it. But y'all taking me down memory lane. My gosh. Yep, you also had Shaft, Jack Spade. Again, there was a go look them up. It was a bunch of incredible stars to help kind of pave the way that the movies for their time were great. Yeah, they might seem a little more aged now. I'll say that, but it's some of them, most of them, not all. Be clear, not all, but most of them have aged gracefully. We can still appreciate the work and the quality, and all of them are a set point in time of, hey, this is the foundation of what we see for the modern day action star. Absolutely. No question about it. Let me see. Love King, yep, the Last Dragon as well. Also, Love King, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for tuning into the show. We're so happy to here with us all day. We can see we all going down memory lane. Everybody's getting in tune with their movie. I'm not gonna lie. This is making me want to go and watch these films again this weekend. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. This is making me want to go back and watch a lot of these films again, because they were so fun to watch. They were so. I remember when I was watching when I was younger, and even watching when I was more of a teenager. They were so good. It was so good. I'm gonna try to watch. I think a lot of them are on Tubi. Crazy enough. So I'm gonna see if I can find them. I'm gonna see if I can watch them, because they're so good, man. They're so good. Absolutely. Oh, yes, and also, yep, Teddy Burkshot, you're right. Musicians as well. That's a whole nother conversation with how black musicians, both in groups and individuals, came through and helped to kind of both behind the scenes for movie scores and others, as well as just on their own. Kind of help set the precedent for how we see soundtracks work today. It's incredible. It is phenomenal. Absolutely. There's a lot of history going on. Let me see. Now we got Undercover Brother and Black Dynamite. Yep, absolutely. Last Dragon may have been the first black superhero movie, and it was. I think it was one of them. I think I want to say there was one that came before it, but I can't remember. So don't quote me on it. But it definitely was the most impactful, or one of the most impactful out of all of that era of black action stars. That was definitely one of the most impactful, that kind of shook up the landscape, that showed Hollywood and everybody, people want to see us in film. People want to see black folks as lead roles in this capacity in film. And open the door for other groups as well to come through and have their own roles, have their own precedents of stars. To a degree, because we embrace the cultural, the cultural, impacts of a lot of the, martial artists of Chinese and Japanese descent, and we embraced their films and applied it to, hey, we think that's cool. We can also fight. Let's make something where it's a perfect shebang. Something that resonates with us. They didn't think that black people or really anybody wanted to see that type of film. We showed up and showed out and showed that, hey, it's not just us. Everybody wants to see this. Lo and behold, became a cult classic. Lo and behold, became a trendsetter. And then it became one of the most important fixtures of filmmaking to help break down the barrier of holding back a lot of actors and a lot of stories that we thought were not but Hollywood thought just could not be told because it's just not possible. And now it is. So all well and good. It's great. Absolutely. Absolutely. No question. About it. Let me keep going. Jim Kelly, our first Bills, our first Billy Blanks or Michael White. Yeah. Oh, but and Billy Blanks, actually, I grew up on, crazy enough, I still got CDs from when I was growing up of Billy Blanks working out. Is it Billy Blanks? Hold on. Let me make sure. I am thinking of the right person, right? I am thinking of the right person. Hold on. Wait a minute. Yes, I am. Yep, Billy Blanks, Tybo were a consistent weekend thing when I was growing up, and I loved it. I still got. I think I still got some of the CDs around here somewhere that I kept around. And so, but and crazy stuff, he's still around today. Thank God he's still alive. He's 70, but don't look above 55. Crazy, he's 70 years old, which is ridiculous to think about. My goodness, insane. But let me see. Google a bar. The Black Superman was the first. I never heard of it. Let me see. We can do a little bit of live research real quick before we get on out of here. That's a real movie. Well, what do you know? Hold on, wait a minute. A bar, the Black Superman. What is this? Hold on. What is it? I know we're going a little bit out of the sports realm. I understand it. Like I said, we'll do it right now. Last call for the sport for anything involving the world of sports and beyond that you want to discuss. Because we're coming up on 3 hours, so we do gotta get out of here so we can prep for the next shows, and also y'all still gotta go and finish off your work week. So we gotta. Gotta let y'all breathe. But even still, let me see. Upon moving into a bigoted neighborhood, the scientist father of a persecuted black family gives a superpower elixir to a tough bodyguard, thus becoming a superpowered crime fighter. Huh? Oh, wow. Okay. Essentially creating just about the first black Superman. Okay, all right. Okay, I'll check it out. That's an actual thing. That's a real thing, like I said. And so and crazy enough, it is on Tubi, which if you do want to see a lot of these films, like I said, go to Tubi. It's almost like an historical archive of a lot of the history of film in the black community as it has evolved from different eras and different genres and different types of strategic moves. It's kind of a good timeline if you can't go and check it out. But yeah, but no, it's real. I ain't never heard of it. I'm down with checking it out. Like I said, 'cause I'm all about seeing what we've done over the years. There ain't no problem at all. I'll check it out and I'll see what it is over the weekend. And if you can too, again, I'll bar the Black Symbiote. So we gonna see how it goes. Hopefully, not even hopefully, it's gonna be really interesting to see how kind of the litmus of time has progressed. I think that was what 1977. I believe it was. Yeah, I believe that was. Was it 77 or 79? When did this come out? What year did this come out? This came out in 77. Yeah, this came out in 77. I actually rated a 4.3 out of 4.3 out of 5. Might not be a bad film at all. Hey, yeah, I'm down for seeing it, absolutely. But real quick, hold on. Before we go too far down memory lane, we still gotta keep it with sports. It's the last call, real quick. Last call for the world of boxing or beyond the NBA, NFL. Do you want to talk about the Trae Young trade? Do you want to talk about the moves going on with the Lakers again, getting seemingly back on track, though they lost to Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. Spurs still doing incredibly well with the Indiana versus who they play. Indiana plays who does Indiana play today? The Hoosiers, they play tonight for a shot at the championship, playing against the Oregon. That's what playing against Oregon. Number 5 Oregon versus number 1 Indiana. Indiana 14-0. Oregon 13-1. Winner of this from the this is the Big Ten, right? This is from the Big Ten. Okay, yeah. Who's from the Big Ten? Winner of this goes into the national championship. And I told y'all Miami was gonna get there and they're gonna beat Ole Miss. What did I say? Hey, buddy, do I know what I'm talking about? Do I know what I'm talking about? Did I not say that the U is going to pull it out? And they beat, again, in a barn burner of a game, going up against Ole Miss, going up in the last couple seconds, being able to see Carson Beck run it in for a touchdown off of a pass that we thought, what was it? It was like, 3rd and 6? No, it was 3rd and goal, excuse me. Where they had about 15 yards to come in and try to get a score. And if they didn't, it was going to have to go into a tie and potentially go into overtime if they made the field goal. Carson Beck was in for a touchdown. Miami holds off Ole Miss from being able to get downfield to do a last-minute Hail Mary. No penalties involved, and they got the job done. And the U is one game away from being called national champions once again. Yes, indeed. And right now, we got it between Oregon and Indiana. What would be the craziest of games I would love to see, just for the sake of what the colorways will look like. Oregon versus Miami for the national championship. I would love to see that. Now, if the Hoosiers can pull this out, even better. Even better. Mind you, they had the current Heisman winner on their team as well. The offense has been looking incredible. We understand that they dominated Alabama. If you're an Alabama fan, hey, look, I do apologize. Look, condolences. You know, Nick Saban would be, like I said, rolling over in his bed. He probably up and at him, driving to the facility right now, saying, hey, give me my coaching spot back because y'all are looking abysmal. Y'all looking terrible. But look at, we mourn the loss of a great program that's terrorized the league. And the SEC ain't looking nearly as strong, especially with now being able to pay players above the table. Because people were getting paid under the table for multiple years. That's why the likes of the SEC was able to reign for so long. Now, ain't the same. We're getting a lot more parity because a lot more quality is going around to a lot more schools, which is great for me. And in my opinion, I think it's still great. But even still, with them being able to beat Alabama the way they did, decimating them. Wouldn't be surprised if you had them as, they're going to be able to beat Oregon. But I'm calling it another upset. And I'm saying that Oregon's going to beat Indiana. Yes, indeed. Oh, yeah. I'm calling it now. Oregon's going to beat Indiana. And it might be by the 4th quarter. It might not be close. Close in the 3rd, then you start pulling away in the 4th. I'll say what, 30-21? 30-21, we see Oregon beat them. And then we get Oregon versus Miami in the national championship, which, if that does happen, well, depending on how they play, I'll get my predictions for that later on in the year. But like I said, that's a little bit of college football if you would like to discuss it. Also, again, with Trae Young and the Wizards getting their star, we said Trae Young ain't going to be playing there for long, and it looks like it might be true. They could indeed trade Trae Young from the Wizards into another team. Maybe the Timberwolves. Maybe, get some assets from OKC with what we know with OKC trying to, having so much capital. And then being able to use Trae Young as another asset to get another potentially big star with the likes of Jalen Williams not looking the same from the standpoint of the copacetic nature of the chemistry and success that they were having when it looked like the OKC Thunder were going to beat the Warriors record of 73-9. Now, they've lost what? They got beat by the Hornets by 30. Crazy enough. Got beat by the Hornets by 30. Never looked like a shell of themselves ever since offensively. Looks like some teams starting to figure out what they've done offensively. It looks like Williams isn't the best fit for how this currently constructed team without him on the roster has been moving. Yeah. Same price that they have for LeBron now is starting to turn into the price that OKC is having for one of their own biggest stars that they paid a bag to. They want to repeat, boys. It's not looking as nearly set in stone that they're going to be able to run it back like it was at the start of the year when they were winning, 23, 24 games straight. Just about insane work. But even still, interesting sentiments abounding around the NBA. Where is Trae Young going next if he does get booted from the Wizards? Because reports are saying that he might not play all year for the Washington Wizards. I think Sham Sharami and a couple other people. Again, he could be moved as a piece to get him more pieces. With the likes of Damian Lillard being injured for the Bucks, and the Bucks had to trade Dame away, and with the notion that, hey, Giannis might move. Giannis could leave. There's still that inclination. Giannis could leave. Don't forget, Giannis is a very mindful person where he's loyal. But if you don't make the moves to make his loyalty worthwhile, he will, at the end of his contract, get going. They tried to do it with Dame, and it was supposed to work as you got an outside threat and an inside threat that should make it so that each person can do whatever they want. Dame gets hurt. Dame gets injured. Bobby Portis is getting older. Got rid of the likes of Brooks. Team hasn't looked nearly the same, even though Giannis has still been on pace to be playing in a fourth year in a row some of the best basketball he's garnered before him getting injured. And then even with him, excuse me, even with Giannis getting injured this year, still has been performing at an incredible high level. That will not go unnoticed if he can't get the help that he needs. And this team doesn't build properly. It could be that Bucks take a chance. They say if the Wizards are going to move him again before the trade deadline, they try to get him. Pair Trae Young with the likes of Giannis. And I don't believe Trae Young has been nearly as injury prone either. And can still space the floor and with that combination of a lob threat, be insane. And with the lack of ability defensively that Trae Young has, he's a bum of a defender. He tries, but he's a bum. As a defender, he's terrible. But offensively, he can give you 28 and 10. Offensively, he can give you 28 and 10. One of the best passes that we got in the league right now, averaging over the course of the last 3 years, 8 or 9 assists. You put that with Giannis as a lob threat, and Giannis takes care of the defensive responsibility as the defensive anchor, similar to Clint Capella, but on an egregiously better scale. Yeah, you got yourself potentially a recipe where something good can happen. You're going to need more. Be clear. You're going to need more. Trae Young ain't going to be the only answer, but it could be an answer to that type of gripe to at least help sweeten the pot to make Giannis want to stay around for longer so that you can fully flush out this rebuilding mode. Because you got Kuzma, who was looking like somebody who could be a good asset, then kind of devolved into hit or miss. You got Miles Turner. I believe you have Miles Turner, who's playing with the Bucks now. And that's been not necessarily the best acquisition that has made as big of an impact as people may have wanted to see him have when he's on the Bucks. I think it's only averaging 12 and 5, shooting 41% from the field. Mind you, you're supposed to be a great three-point shooter, but as a big man, only shooting 41% in the end. That's a little bit sketchy. Little bit sketchy. Not even a little bit. That's heavily sketchy. That's straight. You could argue that's straight up bad. 16 and 21 and below 500. And we're a third of the way into the season with the All-Star break coming up on the year. So moves got to be made, and they got to be made quick. Because if not, it can be a dangerous thing. But Milwaukee could be a move that he gets moved to, at least in my humble opinion. Could also be if the Wizards don't keep him. With the amount of options that the likes of Portland has in terms of young, youthful assets, Mike moving to Portland. Well, no, I can't even say that because they gave up because Anthony Simons is on Boston. Anthony Simons was the best prospect that they had in Portland before he got shipped off. So maybe not. Maybe not Portland. Wizards. If you don't understand Wizards, OKC for just straight up trade assets to rebuild in the draft. Not that. Milwaukee because they need somebody to help sweeten the pot to make Giannis stay. Not that. Honestly, it might not be a whole bunch of places that he can go. Not saying that he won't add to a bunch of other teams in the NBA. Be clear, he will. He will and he could. Like if he went to Houston. Though, what was supposed to be the point guard in Fred VanVleet is injured. And they still making a potent move to being in the NBA and being incredibly dominant. As a true point guard, quote unquote. You can argue they don't have that. And if they wanted that, with Houston sitting, 6th right now in the Western Conference, being a lock, quote unquote, for the playoffs if it was to end today. But even still, they're 22 and 12. In a division where 22 wins at this point in time can put you out of the immediate playoff running. It can't. Mind you, there are 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. I'm counting wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 teams right now in the Western Conference that got 20 wins or more. 8 teams, 7 of which got 22 and up. That's it. Golden State is 20 and 18. They're 11 games back. Rockets are 7 games back from the top spot with OKC. OKC being, again, 31 and 7 on the year. Incredible. But still, down. San Antonio's second in the West. They're 26 and 11. They're second in the West and they're 26 and 11. Houston is a real dangerous contender for this year. But if they want you to elevate even more, they might need to make one more move. And that one more move might be the means of getting a point guard and the likes of Trae Young to help foster that even more accentuated offensive array. Because they got Amen Thompson running the point right now. And I love Amen Thompson. I love what he can do as a player. But both Thompson brothers, insane, ridiculous in what they can bring to the table. I love their athletic ability. They can cut so sharply. They got length and movement and dexterity in the way that they can move and manipulate themselves around the court. Amen Thompson having a motor that, like, if when he wants to go, boy, he can move, boy. Physical person that can go and bang with anybody else, not just down low, but also up top and offensively, adds to the depth of Kevin Durant, Alperen Sengun, who right now Sengun is out, understandable. But even still, you got some real weapons when everybody's out. You put Trae Young on that lineup, and you put Young at the 1, KD at the 2, what Jabari Smith at the 3, not KD at the 2, I'm sorry, Young at the 1, Thompson at the 2. You know, you Jabari Smith at the 3 if you want to. KD at the 4, Sengun at the 5. Offensively, offensively, that speaks for itself as to what potent type of potential that could be. But as of the 3 teams, those are the things I could see. But either way, Trae Young, if he did say he wants to go to the Wizards, and he did say that he wanted to come through and add those one of the main teams that he asked for. So he could be like the one to do what CJ McCollum did. Get a bunch of shots up, average 50 a game, 40 a game, and then eligible for a Supermax, get a bunch of money, ride high, and then do nothing else. That also could be the thing. So there's a lot of volatility right now. And of one of the big moves that there could still be more moves coming from the league and what this newfound NBA, this early season can bring to the table. And as the deadline gets closer and closer, as the All-Star break gets closer and closer, we're going to see some people start making some heavy moves to make some real runs, to finalize their roster to get a championship. Absolutely. It can happen. I can't wait to see it as it all unfolds. But with all that being said, I think we're going to wrap this show up and send it home. Unless there's anything else anybody wants to say in regards to this show as a whole. But if not, we thank you all for tuning in and listening. We thank you all for supporting the channel. We thank you all for having a time right here on the Watch What. With all that being said, this has been a great episode and another episode, an end of the week edition of the Watch What with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for supporting the channel. Thank you all for being a part of this incredible affair. Like I said, please leave a like on the video. Comment, thoughts, and opinions on anything you want to discuss in the world of boxing and beyond for the next episodes. Thank you all who came into the chat and tuned into the show. Y'all were incredible. If you would like to support the channel, we have Cash App, we have PayPal, we got links down below in the description, as well as super chats, super gifts, and super thanks, and all that stuff. If you can support the channel, would mean the world to me. Absolutely helps me to pay the bills. It helps us to go and make this show bigger, better, and stronger. All for your viewing and listening pleasure. Rate us 5 stars on every podcasting platform. Listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts, and please be sure to leave a like on the stream before you leave, and share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. We're going to see you all next week. Be safe, be blessed, peace, and love. We are here. Yes, sir. We're going to see you all on next time. Peace and love. Be blessed. And we out.